Yeah, we're on. All right. Do you wanna? Do you
What's the
wanna?
top
Well, I'll
this
just
week?
introduce who you are, what we're doing, and then we'll announce that live. It is I think Friday. It is March
Kelvin.
27. Kelvin. Did I put Kelvin? That was my dyslexia. Sorry.
We're
um,
on.
Shadow, Kelvin, and I are present. Yes, I've used an icon which is to do with the stars. It's got Osiris, Isis, and Horus. You two can pick your symbols and characters from that, and I will be the remaining one. The dome icon represents the womb, and then you've got Horus and Osiris, I believe, then as the star, five pointy star in the obelisk. The obelisk is representative of a phallus, though. Be warned. One is a womb, and one is Horus, I think, the star. So, yeah, I've just entitled the cast our names and open mic, so we can just discuss whatever comes to mind. Like you've just asked me a question, Shadow. Um, we was having a private chat just before then, so you can say hello, Shadow, Kev, if you want first, and then we'll crack on.
Hello, everyone. All doing well. All I'm going to say is everyone to sit tight because if shit does hit the pan, I'm just gonna get on the runaway train and straight to the royal courts of justice. If there's a judge about, I hope there is, but you don't know till you turn that corner.
Bless you. All right, that
Yeah.
seems a good direction to. It's not my direction, but it's a direction. Yes, I like that. Kev, do you want to say hello? What?
Evening, everybody. How are we all? Craig, Jerry, how we doing? So they're in the room at the moment. Hope everybody's well. Had a good week. Here we are at the weekend again, and lockdown, which we're just saying is nothing. This is just busman's holiday for me. So yeah, not really affected at present. But I hope everybody's well. Good to see you all.
Yeah, I'm doing well. It's just because I'm very receptive of things. I take people's perceptions. I just my head's been all over the place. I've been mixed emotions. I've been happy. I've been upset. It's just I've had a mixed bag week, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah, you're not alone there. There is quite a lot of anxiousness, and what would we call it? There's a lot of ones that are not so strong mentally that aren't able to manage with the uncertainty and with it being an invisible. A warrior attack an invisible opponent, and with
an imaginary friend.
Yeah, and with the testing only happening if you exhibit symptoms, then we are left at somewhat of a quandary. We are in a time of common cold and flu symptoms, so anybody who's a smoker with a cold at this moment, it can sympathise with me when you're out and about and you may go and it's just a simple I'm fine, I'm healthy, and I believe so, and others run.
Everybody hits the floor.
It's a fine old time. Yeah, I did wear a mask and some gloves today whilst out getting a few little essential bits that we haven't gone and got anything for a while, so I just topped up some bits before. I did post a video from. I was just explaining to Kev. I went through my gallery and I noticed my WhatsApp gallery folder had increased exponentially. And that was the first I knew. So I skimmed through what has been downloaded to the phone from messages from many and various. And upon some videos, I saw the tanks moving up on the M1 that one of the scribes had seen and sent me to have a look at. So. And that doesn't mean anything, martial militant as such, like there are fears of. But it is nice to see that you have got your eyes and ears open. Some of you are maybe overly worried, and some of us are perhaps too laid back. There is no need for concern at the minute when we are privy to quite a lot of information and avenues. So we'll have a chat tonight with the room. Well, I can see the room. I don't know if you can, Shadow.
Well, I've got the room.
Kev? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex, if you can hear me.
Yeah.
Just chat that.
So you can see the chat room, yeah?
If we go on to YouTube.
Yeah, and you can see the comments, and then because there will be others there will be some of the scribes and viewers maybe that are on now that can sympathise with the anxiety, the uncertainty, I suppose, the mental anguish that is going off with not just finance, and if you've got we say assets, young stars, young blood, then you're going to be worried primarily over them. Then you've got your own health, and yeah.
So some parts of America they start looting banks and stuff.
Well, that's just symbolic of times and mentality, isn't it? Of what man will do in desperate times. They will ploy to take something. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We're not here to judge, but the idea of insanity, the definition of insanity, is when man repeats a process over and over again and expects it's the same process we're repeating, but we expect a different outcome. Every time. That's insane. This is just history repeating in many ways, in many formats, isn't it? So
what's the other saying? Those who don't know their history are destined to repeat it.
Yeah, we're not groundhogging anymore. We've got the luminaries and we've got the illuminated, minds here, the consciousnesses. We have been privy to meet some other, extensively knowledgeable channels, scribes themselves, and we've had guests and been guests, and we've been all over. We've had seminars and trekked and chatted, and it's been a good journey. We have information now of which we've never had before because of the creation of the web, the casting of the streams of the nets. Boatman speak in digital terms again there, streams and nets and casting, but we've able to connect, and we've had a torrent. I, for one, have had to take 5 to 7 days off immediately up until today, basically because I cooked my goose when I was researching last week, and you lot were interacting as always, and it's got faster and busier. And I decided, like Kelvin did to some extent, to turn off and tune in and cop out as the track went. Was it Tune In Cop Out by somebody? Funky little number back in the day.
Yeah.
I think it was used as an advert as well, but for maybe some garments there. I've come back into the fold, and we got Shadowwear on. He said he's anxious and he's watching and listening. There are other thought leaders out there amongst the mainstream media, and then the shadow civil movement. So we've got 3 mainstream narratives of YouTube and the mainstream academic, and then we've got the shadow civil, which is like YouTube but a bit more different realm to YouTube, and coming out with concise government freedom information, documentation, and presentation in video format. So I, for one, yesterday, furthermore, put a comment link on in the community side of Indie to look at that video from the International Courts of Justice, if you like, there for various issues, mainly missing young stars. And the topic, I'll be honest with you, the topic what cooked my goose was when I heard that investigating ex-UK high-ranking officer there respectfully say, we are aware that there are people in this realm that manufacture babies. These were his more or less words: manufacture babies, not get pregnant and give birth, but they manufacture them as an asset with a value tag on them. And when they are born privately at home, there's never a registration, and they are put into a market on a digital realm to be sold. And then he says when they're sold with no license to certificate registration, they're very much easily managed and sold and shipped about, and then they have a shelf life of up to 2 years. And then that just broke me, fam. To be honest with you, I was like, "What? This is when we talk about like liability and civil and tacit and tort and that, we think we're at a war, and it's all misleading and wrong and unlawful." But when you're talking about how many, he comes out with some numbers, official numbers, and the missing amounts of babies, children, and where they go from, how they go, and what's come out of light with the agencies and their mitigating or non-mitigating circumstances with the disappearance of and the losing of, and then it was very dark, and I decided to step out for a bit. I thought I need to meditate and balance and find when you're in this research, this is why we don't ever have hangouts about stuff taboo like that, because it's very much a dark subject. So I don't want to immediately put you in all in a dark place, but we don't know if we can trust the news. That's the next thing, and that's why Shadow and others, including myself to some extent, if I allow myself to fixate on it, will become immersed in the mainstream narrative or the YouTube narrative, or a mixture of mainstream YouTube and then the civil shadow for the third portion. And there's no definitive, and we need to be we're creatures of habit, and we need to know we're safe and we're looked after. So for that, we do feel lost in many ways. I'll yield the floor to you two. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I'm not overly concerned about it.
I wanted to ask a question. You said something about the international courts. Is the Royal Courts of Justice basically deals with international law jurisdiction, or is it?
Well, think of the title. What's it called? What court did you just say? What's the name of it?
Royal Courts of Justice.
Who would run that? Who would manage that? Who owns that then? Look at the title. Yeah. Royal. So it'd be inland probably. No, you've the Hague and things for international. That's why you can't try. It's like I don't know, a civil body saying we've investigated ourselves and we found there was nothing wrong. We have that quite a lot. So we have now we have impartial, allegedly, so we're told, ombudsman and management and etc. to investigate, and committees to hold audits and whatnot. Yes, if we believe, unlike the Bank of England, that can't be touched. So, with regards to the bank, with regards to the courts, if you want to execute a charge or a claim upon a body, or it won't be a court, you couldn't take the Royal Courts of Justice, but you'd take the ones that are responsible and manage it and have got the titles to that. Yeah, for the Royal Courts, you couldn't take them to then a court in England, because the English courts are at fault. And if you go to an English court to tell them that there's an English court at fault, they're going to protect one another. So then we have to export the allegations and the handling of the claim to somebody who is more non-attached and more independent, for putting it easily, that has jurisdiction and authority that is recognised, but then can also impartially apply judicial as opposed to due process, which is how these guys seem to skirt around stuff. So if you wanted to make claim in England about England or something, like even to the monarchy or somewhere, then you could internationally and you'd link that with things like human rights and with the type of the claim. If the claimant is the perpetrator is the landowner, then you have to go somewhere off the land to report the landowner. That's am I making sense? Kev?
Yeah.
Do you want to explain any of that a bit better, perhaps?
They hold the equitable title to that land.
Yeah, that's why you have the Hague independent courts and stuff, international, recognising the standard structure of the constitution of law. They also recognise biblical, that have the elements of equity there and things. So when I say they are parallel, but they're not an agreement and contract and bonded with the City of London. There we go. So they're independent of that, but they still have the full shebang and the process and the language and the hats and the wigs and the talk, you see, yeah? So the guillotine can come down and bosh.
There is a mac talk going on today. It's called a pandemic. A plandemic. They've planned it. And if you look at the word coronavirus, it means crown a virus.
Yeah, we've looked at the Latin of this, yeah, and it is very, there's a lot of syncretism, Santos has mentioned, and others brought you into this realm about how the universe echoes and speaks, and if you believe something and you research it, you find other areas that can complement it. As above, so below, so below, as above is one of the key bits. Again, Shadow.
Smart man.
You broke up, Shadow?
Pardon?
Your mic's not very good.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, just.
Yeah, I said Bill Gates is a very, very smart man, but he's a scumbag at the same time. He told everyone in 2015 people are not ready for the next pandemic.
Oh, what, is he in the public domain saying that? Is that where you've read that?
Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
There's a video of it.
I very much dislike the way he says vaccines. It just makes me want to go. I'm going to say it just makes me want to go right hand, left, and pervasively just, but I don't want to engage in that.
He's like the nerd gone mental, isn't he?
He is a bit of it. Do you know what? I saw one of his videos. He's up in the mountains, man. He's lobbed off, mate. He's bunker. That's all he's bothered about.
Let me see who's in here. We got Craig and Williams, Jerry. Good Lord, it's small print. All my eyes.
Mother!
Papillon.
Mother's in!
Lisa. I was speaking to Nonna today as well, speaking of mothers.
She sent me I must respond. She sent me a message.
Benjamin.
I've had a week like Shadow. It's been a bit on and off this week. All on now, but yeah, had a couple of spooky days this week, which was a bit unexpected. Sorry, back to the room. Yeah, hi Lisa. Papillon. Who else?
Jerry.
Benjamin.
What's he put there? Very easy to seem smart when you told the plan and part of the agenda.
That's actually quite true.
Yes, Pap. Long time no see. Easy now. Are we all good? Are you all fit and strong? Anybody with any complaints or ailments? This is just an open mic chat to just see what go on. Just on a Friday night for an hour or so.
As long as you can hear me, Dave, I'm alright.
That's better, yeah.
That's perfect, then. Don't move. Whatever you do.
Stay there.
Yeah. As I was saying, that Bill Gates is basically a fascist. He knows what he's doing. He's planned it with all the Rothschilds, the banking cartel, whatever. There's a thing what he does. It's called predictive programming. Like, they put things like on the mainstream media, on the tube as well, and it's like it is a form of social engineering. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. I'm not too keen on the man and the incentives. I've heard about geoengineering claims and how he dominated the PC market. But you've just said there, you've said on my channel, and remember where you are now, I'm legally responsible for all of this. Let's just play. I'll get on the fence there. Why do you claim that he's a fascist and that he programs? And what evidence have you got? We're lawful men, so we would ask for your material facts of the claim, the evidences. I'm not picking on you, but what have you got? Have you seen? Give me some fact. Win me over now with what you've said. Go on, and the trills.
I've seen this document which is called Silent Weapons Quiet Wars, and it's got one with DARPA as well. I've seen that document as well, and you go through it.
I've seen it. Lockheed Martin, DARPA.
Tells you basically what his plan is.
His plan. It's not just his though, is it? There's a mixture there. Yeah.
Weapons.
Yeah, it's like the Wi-Fi. When we've been down this road before, like when we say here we go, because we're all on the internet in the daytime and everybody's using it. What they've done is they've gone, here's the top 10 tips to speed up your Wi-Fi. And there's a bit, right? I'm going to post it tomorrow on all platforms that I manage. And here we go. Tip number 6. Or whatever it is, it's a middle tip. It doesn't matter the number, but the point is, it says this: if you're having your internet, telephone, Wi-Fi, video chat or conference, and you want to maintain clarity and continuity, do not use your microwave, because microwaves are known to interfere with the internet signal and they break up the video chat. But I'm like, hang on a minute. Hang on, I know that because I've done Cass in Anne Marie's kitchen, and if someone comes in and uses the microwave, it will spanner up the transmission. But microwaves are sealed units, everybody, aren't they? They're completely safe. They don't emit any radiation. No, much like a mobile phone. We've tested them ourselves, and we found them to be absolutely perfect and safe.
There's nothing wrong with them.
That's why the inventor of the Apple phone didn't let his children, allegedly, I wasn't there, I didn't meet him, I can't, 100% what's it now? First-hand knowledge, but
Confirm or deny.
it's not first-hand knowledge, but apparently certain inventors of technologies like the Apple devices didn't let their fam use them for fear of the radio waves and the silent weapons for soft war. So the Wi-Fi that Lyndon was on with the other week, and just the weaponization of tech before it's then given to us for commercialization, but it's semi-weaponized then by its very nature of operation, is what Shadow's learned. And for that, I allow your comments about Mr. Bill of the Gates estate and corporations there to stand, and anybody that challenges you can go and check it out and find out that the tech we have is weaponized and given to us.
I found
All
I
right.
found it on Mark Ceylon's channel. That's where I found it.
There's lots of disclosures and publications.
The most important document.
Go on again.
And it's the way they're pushing this as well. I hate the way he goes. Do his accent. He goes, vaccines. I want to jump from the telly. That's me. A vaccine we left them, mate.
Right turn, Clyde. You're making me think of that film where he says, right turn, Clyde. Shadow appears. It's like your own portable Chuck Norris weapon in an egg. Shadow, right turn. Back in the egg.
Back in the egg.
Come on. It's the king of surprise for every politician dreads.
Yeah, if I'm using, if I go in the kitchen with my headphones on.
1 minute,
say,
Shadow. Wait, Shadow. Wait there. Kev, say that again, brother. Again.
If I go to the kitchen and the microwave's on and I've got my headphones on, as in the wireless ones, it absolutely ruins, kills the signal.
It does, doesn't it? I've noticed it. And also, when I was working at the place that shall not be mentioned, when somebody came into the dinner room to use the microwave that was underneath the plasma TV has got connection to an aerial on the roof, remember? It's not fed by an internal aerial. It's mounted properly outside, and it's plugged into the main DC power system. So then someone comes in and uses the microwave, and the TV used to scramble every time, and I'd sit there as a little amateur scientist thinking, so microwaves are sealed, and that's when I saw it for real. I'm like, and it's messing up that TV that's at least 2 meters away from it, vertically up 2 meters, and it's still scrambling it, but the aerial's outside on the roof. I don't believe that microwave is emitting interference to get to the aerial all the way, because it's got floors and material, building, timber, joist RSJs. There's no way. But the TV itself was detecting the field of the microwave, and it was just jumbling up all the receiving, the boxes inside the TV that operate on electromagnetic waves. They were getting scrambled by that microwave, my brain worked out. And I was like, so that lady stood there for the duration of that cooking period as well, within half a meter. And I thought, whoa, that's not good to see. I saw a ball coming from that microwave in a 360 all the way up to the TV, and then I just went round, and I thought, even people sat down near it are getting zapped, and then you've got your phone in your pocket next to your ovaries and your tezzes. You're going out for a fag, you're drinking poison. It's just madness, really. And they say, don't smoke, Kev. You need to watch out for the smoking, because you might die. As I said, with others that are pure organics, and their body is a temple, unlike I, and they live a saintly life. When you go outside into the general public, you've got the 5G, the invisible Wi-Fi, the radiation, the elements of the food. Josh X told us your blood resembles a leukemia patient hours after eating a microwave food, because of the wave format that it heats up the atoms of the food and makes them get hot. So it's madness that we have these convenience desires, and they are convenient, They slowly kill you. It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, my body's like an abandoned church
Absolutely.
with a collapsed roof.
Medicine.
Mate,
Yeah, go on.
during this quarantine, mate, I'm gonna have to go with raw vegan, man. I'll tell you, it'll probably be the best decision that I'll ever make. I think personally, but I think everyone should try and at least try it.
What's that? Try what?
If you can't do it, don't worry about it, but just give it a try anyway at the same time. Do you know what I mean? With a double-edged sword.
What are you on about? Give what a try, though.
Just going raw vegan or transition to it.
I thought you said vegan. I just wanted to hear that again. Raw vegan or something. Yeah, there's a Gerson diet that's been heralded for. Yeah, and we've had Josh on again. We get relating to anti-candida, alkalinity diets, flushing and juicing and cleansing and purging. We've had Santos on with bloody. Oh my! I'm not having a go here, but some of the things he said when he was on with. Targeted individual and weapons, direct energy weapons, and I target. I was like, and I'm talking to him privately sometimes, and I'm like, this can't be for real. This is like a trip. If this stuff's going on, so yes, DARPA needs technologies, and what we've come to find.
They all these like the Rothschilds and all them. They understand astrology. They know this. They all know the nursery rhymes as well, and there's a nursery rhyme.
You asked me a question about nursery rhymes. What was it? That first question that now we've come back. You mentioned that, but
I was singing the nursery rhyme. Hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, and the cow jumped over the moon. The little dog laughed, and the spoon. The plate ran away with the spoon.
See, such fun.
That is
and
it.
the dish ran away with the spoon.
That's it.
That. But it is to do with astrology in a way, because the cow could be the Taurus, and moon's
a
Gemini.
bull could be an ox, a bull. You are a coward. You are labelled a coward if you have no backbone or no strength, no ethics, morality, no will, no courage. There we go, courage. The cowardly lion, cow, and an ard. Cow, yeah, bull, oxes, tauruses. Hey diddle, it's much like Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Sailor. Those are the four men you'd need to kick some arse in the olden days. If you wanted to go and do a bit of, you see. So why did you get onto nursery? Why did you get onto nursery rhyme, Shadow?
What?
Why was you? Where did that come from?
It was just like with QAnon, I've just been seeing so many coincidences recently. I'm having this thought in the head over and over again. Like, my head says, I want to stay here, but I want to take this big leap of faith and just go with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like where he brings up the quotes and stuff, and I just feel like just sprinting there. I don't know what's happening. I just don't know what I feel at the moment with all this madness going on, unraveling in front of our eyes.
Well, we've got the Master of Madness on the line. Kev, over to you. I yield the floor.
Master of Madness.
What you talking about, Phillips?
What you talking about, Phillips? Fucking hell. I did just see a comment. I see Mike's put in there that apparently the Queen's got it now. The old virus.
Put your mic closer, Kev.
What's that, mate?
You sound a bit distorted.
Oh, that's Dave. That's probably down to Dave and his machinery.
Yeah.
Because I think we're all on different phones and stuff, I think.
Yeah. Maybe I should get Shadow on the phone. If you've got unlimited credit, you can ring a number, Shadow, and then maybe we get you on the phone. Discord's good, or Skype, that's good. Yeah, depends if you can hear Kev or not. We'll carry on and see how we get on.
I can hear Kev speak. Kev was speaking. I heard him.
What? He just said he was
Go on, Kev.
distorted.
Well, I say it's,
I said
I've just got my standard headphones on. I'm not, it's not the mics in the headphones, etc. It's not separate. I've got about 8 of them in there, so I don't know why it's distorted. Is it distorted to you, Dave?
No, we're good. We're all good. It's him with
no,
the
it's
rubbish.
fine.
It's Ladder here with the rubbish mic and the rubbish headset that he got from Poundland, probably, that's 3 years
To
old.
the duvet.
Sorry, Shadow.
We know, Shadow. We know, mate.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah?
Yes, mate. Absolutely good as gold. It's just the trouble is if I start speaking, I think there's a slight delay right now, and then you'll start speaking, and then we start coming over the top of each other.
All right.
That's all, mate. But I can hear you fine. Does go a bit in and out occasionally, but for the most part, 80%, I can hear you okay, mate.
Yeah.
UFO in Turkey. It's all over Facebook. There's a UFO in the
Yeah.
continent. Wow, is there?
Of course there
Really?
is.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's have a look. Thank you
Yeah.
for links. Put the we'll get.
I've
some
seen
links.
it.
Yeah.
Fucking nonsense. Yeah, the live. So many, and then it's the same picture just over and over again. It's just ridiculous. Of course there is.
Dr. Sebi. Yeah, right. Dr. Sebi. Well said there, Anthony. Looking at the room just because we keep up with the comments. There's been a few strange things going on in the sky. Oh, last few nights over Liverpool. Anyone else noticed anything? From Lisa.
Bell building a 5G tower.
Hello, mate.
The building a 5G tower, Lisa.
What's that?
The Shadow says it's a building.
In fact, it's already up. You know. Mate, I've got to try and stop this one way or another. I don't know what. The spirit's all over the place, man. Mad.
Jerry.
Like, I don't.
Ah, John Quaid. Carry on. Sorry, Shadow.
Yeah, my own spirit's all over the place. It's like, I've got Scorpio in my third house with Pluto, and it says it doesn't recognise authority. I think that's why I've been the way I have the past week, because I've been seeing too much people being authoritative and stuff, and it's messed me up. I feel like determined to do something. I'm like, my moods are quite dualistic in a way.
Oh, you're like John Travolta. Staying alive meets the Bee Gees meets Dalsim. Sorry.
Dave, aren't you missing an opportunity to do your favourite planet joke at the moment while we're on astrology?
No, we've moved on. I've got the symbology of a dome, a pyramid, and a star there for us all to choose a part of.
He's missing a chance here.
I've repeated it enough, but enough of that. I just it was the time. Not often that comes about, but the planets. I took some pictures of the moon and the pole star next to it. I was just testing out the zoom and different pro functions on a camera, but I do notice the niceness of the array. We got Claudio that's brought in the Hygiena. I've posted on Facebook. I've got some emails to catch up with everybody tomorrow, and then I'm up to date. And then I'm going to post a lot of interesting posts that I found. Claudio is moving on, like the other side. What are they called? FPV and the angelic particle matrix. There's a lot of even Eric Van Daniken's come out, and History Channel, Ancient Aliens are up blasting out pyramid stuff and chambers, and they've shown me us videos of a hidden chamber in the Great Pyramids of Giza. Underneath, found a tunnel, a room, water, and a sarcophagus in that water. Mad, mental, Göbekli Tepe and other such things. It's no wonder Shadow and others, Kev, we've had to dip out, take time, recenter, balance, meditate, and get out of the data stream of the matrix. It's designed to distract you. Weapons of mass distraction and destruction, equal measure of. And then your mind is you're meant, your basement or your department. Your mental state there is how a lot of things generate your health and your well-being, your future, and your wealth and prosperity of the ones around you. So your relationships, the loved ones, you don't realise how simple we are to over, progress and program and redact or arrest the progress. We don't just get arrested by the state, shackled and cuffed and chucked incarcerated in a cell, but your heart will arrest, means it's stopped. And a boat, when it's not allowed to go out on sea, is actually arrested. I come to find back some months ago. Well, what? When a boat's broken and can't go out, it's arrested. Okay, then that makes sense. And then arrested development. Back in the day, I used to get ready for school, gelling my spiky flat top at the age of 14, I think, putting on Old Spice from my dad's cupboard and listening to Arrested Development, Mr. Wendell, and such things as. Didn't know at the time the relevance of that, going to an academy to be indoctrinated, dressed like everybody else in a uniform, matching in as a singular unit, like an army, in preparation for, and here we are doing this. So here's a good time for us all to get together and just recognise that we're all still strong. Nobody's fell down yet that we can see with our reports of. Yeah, and there is madness coming out. But if these elites keep getting it, I can't see Parliament opening at the end of April. I can see these quantitative measures carrying on. I can see the pound and the dollar and the fiscal units crashing. I can see an introduction of a digital measure to keep us all afloat. And if you look at it, if I just may close down with, if anybody gets a payment from the government to ease and sort them out in these times, that would be some kind of relief. That's financial, fiscal relief that you're getting in the form of these credits coming into accounts, to either credit accounts or balance or offset accounts, in the form of the charges that are required to be dealt with. So if you get these payments, ments, again, these are different ments because you're worried about your finance. That's a financial ment, a department of finance. So down there in the Department of Finance in the basement, you will get your payments before the judgment. This is also about settlement. So I didn't mean to go here, but here we go. It's a bit of a minty Mendel there. So you're getting them credits, you're getting what's called equitable relief in a way, but you're not doing it. You see, it's all good them doing this and keeping the financial markets ready to go back into action, but we could see, if Parliament don't return, and and God forbid it, but if there's a lot of high ranking, and let's just say in the future, some months down the line, we find that the general public is unscathed, but yet those in high-ranking, power offices, not power, positions of authority, power, judgment, etc., and those fall, then that will be very strange, wouldn't it? And it would give credence to what we've seen coming out of the orifices and the platforms of many and various levels of the echelons, the tierage of the peerage that we mix with in the forms of the media outlets we go on. So I, for one, am just saying, just watch and don't believe the hype was the tune back in the day. I don't know the artist. Who was it? Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. There was a tune and a half, that, Kev, before Shadow. No. But yeah, you got to just go with it and relax and meditate, centre. And
that Public Enemy tune.
That's the one. Wow. It was. Oh, yeah. So there you go. What you want to do when you get your equitable remedy is be as the settlor in the private man, law creator, assumptive, presumptive dealt with, and then you would be, because if you get some easement and settlement and payments and all of that now, you're still in the public trustee general place, meaning when you go, you will be still the final act in the public. So that is. We have the stars and the times and the crown. You mentioned earlier, do we know what crown chronos is? Yes, we do. We got synchronicity. We've got the syncratism, Christos, Lada, all of this that we've learned with the language. So when you say the Corona, not only is there a famous beer named after it, that's heavily reduced in price now. We've got the star and the moon, the elliptical side of it with the luminaries, and when you get that eclipse moment, you will get that ring, and that ring around the top, and you get the corona, very, very deep and comparable to different layers. The crown, we look at the crown and the crown going down and the monarchy and the time in 2020. So yeah, it is quite interesting to say the
Yeah,
least.
we are living in those times, though.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, there's a document called Silent Weapons of Quiet Words. I think it goes, Peter Pepper, whoever picks the shit. I'll get it on the tube now. Just like, I won't blaze it. I just scroll through it, and then I'll be able to tell you what he's saying. This bullet home once I get it. Turn my speaker down.
Hey?
I'm just turning me, just going through this. So
Hey?
Peter picks pipe who picks a tune or something like that.
I have no clue. If any of the scribes have got what reference to the previous one, hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle, the cow jumped over the moon. I've got some ideas, but not really of anything that I'm willing to repeat right now. So I'll field that. That was a good. Not often. You see, that's what I love about my scribes, the guests, the ones that get in touch. You have a unique way, and I would never have thought of that in the next 10 years. I doubt very much, because I'm focused in so many other, as you all are, niche areas which don't allow for me to immerse in nursery rhymes and the Grimm's failed, fairy tales. And there is a relevance there. You were right with the sayings that we have, like poor as piss. You used to take the bucket of piss to the tannery, and the tannery would buy the piss off you. Raining cats and dogs, dead ringer. We've been down this road many a times. I find it fascinating the ways that sayings hold something coward. I don't know how old a coward is, but that's a long time. But it involves a bull, the Baal, the cow, the relevance of coming through the Bible, the bull again, the bullion, and for Knox, sorry. So Oxford, the language that we get from the dictionary of Anglo Babel Speak Saxon, Oxford, yeah. So it's all here still. And nursery rhymes, you've got me there. You really, and not many get me. So that's a kudos to Shadow, and a challenge for all. If we could find out what hey diddle diddle, the cat and the fiddle. I don't know it all, but I'm intrigued by it, and I'd like to find out. I assume it's got a coded message, or it's like the Tinker Tailor Soldier Sailor. That wasn't made up by the common man, the working man of the pit or the factory. That was a rich man saying, probably, hey, what? That's how we won it. Do you know what we did? Did it with 4 men and 20 grand. Sorry. There's another one.
Yeah, Branson can
Hey?
right off. Anthony's put a message in there about Branson asking for $7.5 billion to bail him out when he can pay out of his own pocket. Now all of a sudden he's wants. Oh, unbelievable!
We've got to pay out man before we pay out corporations, fam. That's one thing we must demand, like the American public. They've got some power, them lot. When them lot get to be in the bonnet, I will hand it over to the fam across the pond compared to us, for one. And they soon swarm on DC. And when they get going, I will give it them. They don't take long before they all get out. And there's that many. There's no point getting the army, because there's just too many of them. You couldn't, far too many of them. And they've got an air force, the world's most powerful army. They hear me out. And the good men, the brothers and the bro stars, sis stars of the US of A. And I've seen Romania, another comparable. We've seen France and over to, Greece, Athens, many places, to be fair. Kick ass. You all kick ass in a nice way. No deaths and manageable reports to hear of, skullduggery, but it wasn't all clean fun. But respect to it. We also, are going to do this at some point. I detect like shadows fearing looting and craziness and whatnot. So if we know that it's indicative in our history to loot and rob and take advantage of, then it'd be silly of us not to put some preventative measure countermeasure in place for those that think they can take what isn't theirs and start to commit fear and theft. And this is a common law breach now, everybody, what we're going into, looting and taking what isn't yours and running rackets in neighbourhoods and on streets and trying to get all Gestapo, for want of a better, parallax to that. So we would require adequate support if our main national support system, which is the Met Office rank and file officer, if they start dropping down, getting sick, and we're getting weak, and there's no provisional support in place, and your street starts getting firebombed, and there's a brick through your window, and you then start picking, oh wow, we pay all this money, we've got an army, where's the army then? If the police, so you would demand that. So you need to appreciate that I, as a channel hoster, and as your brother and kind of thought leader, need to be on the fence on some things, but I'm not joining sides with anybody. I can also see how difficult this situation is, and the lack of transparency across the board is where we fall down, because shit happens but we don't know until it's happening is the problem, and often we don't consent. We'll go 5G on that and 26,000 scientists, we'll go many other things, water and fluoridation of it. Nobody wants it, nobody likes it, but it remains in because it's the house's rule, you see. So this is what we worry about. I put the video on of the tank sent by a scribe to show you what's happening, but I thought in my mind, yeah, well, it could be going to protect something precious that needs protecting, and in which case, well done, boys, thank you. And if you need any help, I'm sure there'll be a lot of sovereign initiates to help out, like with the volunteering of the jobs that need doing while we all start falling sick. I think that's highly commendable in the face that there isn't enough protective equipment of a high enough standard getting distributed to the ones that need it fast enough, much like the Gulf War situation with how they had to bail out our Prime Minister, who set that up and failed. Allegedly, I wasn't there, but the reports and the disclosures tell you that. Nick Pope has helped out and others with this. So here we are again. The man of the land is willing to prepare to go out there and volunteer and maybe not come back. So again, I commend you for doing that. All that have volunteered, I think there's something like 500,000 maybe. It's a ridiculously high number. So it looks like, you are a loving, caring, sharing fam. So we need to support each other. And if we've got systems and we need to pull boats in and we need to get man onto boats to get them into hospitals, then we'll do so. That's endearing to see that the forces of death. Look at it from our point of view. All these years, we've brought you information and discoveries of blood, horrid, monarchy, 1066 battles and wars and great wars and proclamations and etc. Now we're all intelligent and civilized. The army hasn't got much to do apparently. So if we get attacked by a tiny little microbe that may threaten to wipe and kill out millions of us, then them coming in to help us is a damn good use of the money for the first time ever. It's a commendable thing. Again, it's not a bad thing just because they're here. And if they weren't here, there'd be many of you saying they should be, and where were they? So they can't win on that respect. And I'm not here to defend any ill doings, but I am here to defend good, honourable, because they're our family. They're not robots. They're mums and dads and uncles that stand here and say we're not here to attack everybody, and we don't really attack. We don't even judge. We just pass information for you to decide how you wish to proceed in the future. If I'm honest, we let you decide, because if we didn't, we'd be a cult like the cult that we've found that we're in, where we get told to presumptive default and where we've said, well, that's not what God said, is it? Where's the Bible in that? Oh, there isn't. Where's person in Bible? It says don't be a person in Bible, doesn't it? Doesn't it now? Even a Sheffield man can tell you that, as Matt's eloquently put. So just respect the fact that there are assets and there is blood, and we need to look at the scales of balance here. And if we are needed to be required to help out in some way, you are all authorised under your original covenants and governance. But if there's a militant officer outside your door with a backup of a battalion and you think you can go out and take them out, you will lose and they will take you out. So you pick your battles very wisely. And if it comes down to the Bible and your belief, not the Bible, but the universal positive natural laws, the Bible, the Quran, whatever you want to call it, and it comes down to legal, and you see wrong being done, you have a decision to make. And I, for one, can't tell you how to make that decision, but officers in the uniform in France, here we go, let me back this up the other way, I've objected to going out and attending to non-critical incidences now because they haven't got the correct gear. So France knows that the officers are not willing to go out. And watch France now, everyone. Let's see if France goes out and knows that the officers haven't got the correct gear, and they've said publicly and openly, we need an FFB2 or something, an FB22 mask, and we haven't got any, and we're not going out because we might get sick, and we're mums and dads. So respect to them. You see what I mean? So they've had to go against and say, well, we're only going to do the bare minimum. But let's see if France goes and burns itself down. I bet they're more mature than that, more respectful, and more, of conduct and honour and of stature and substance. And that's where we need to be somehow. And if we have to go out there and stop these toe rags doing it, I go out there and stop them. I'm not telling you lot anything, but this is the consciousness in its law. Democracy, what it was, democracy is law in action, consciousness in action. And I commend both your points of view and the overall security of our nation as well, and our assets. I'll yield. I've gone too far. I know I have.
Yeah, man. Just
What a surprise.
what is about to unfold will probably change lives and ever, I think.
Michael Jackson, history in the making. This is it. This is it. Shamon. This is it. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Well, I think it might wake a few more people up.
Mate, and also
Rudely.
soon as well, they're closing all the branches, man. There's barely any banks open. So if the shit hits the fan, people are going to start looting the banks.
No, they won't. The gangsters and idiots, not people, and wannabes, the ones that want a quick fix they don't realise that what they're stealing is going to be deleted in about a week. Don't bother. What's the point? Their only promise is, number one, you can go to Asda. Sorry, I've done it again. At any supermarket, there are many other than that one. I apologise for my sin, and it is a sin in my realm. And you get some value paper and you write on it, as you know, Kev and Shadow, and you turn that into an instrument. Yeah, that instrument has value now, doesn't it? And it has authority. You don't need a bank to get rich.
Yeah, man. Yeah, well, according to Consumer Credit Section 123, check. So they try to go cashless. So you can go here, go check, mate. That's what I'm thinking, man. Check. So that's how it's all a game. It's a game of chess, and we're just pawns. He picks the tune, picks the piper, and all that. It's like Peter picked the piper and all that.
Oh, don't get me on that one. I've mastered that one. We're not go there.
That's what they did. That's what it says on Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. Those who plays the pipe picks the tune. So people can keep saying stuff, and the tune keeps going and going, and then you see whoa, that is absolutely mad. We've been predicting this for coming, the tune is it's happened. This is whoa, they know this stuff, man. I'm telling you.
Well, the people sent me videos about people that are on these videos saying how to picking the news of the 1970s and random mad. You don't know if it's real, not real, pinch of salt stuff, and the Chaplin stuff we've found, and it's been put out there years and years. Noam Chomsky's an old granddaddy now, like Maxwell and others. I'm not going through them all, but they've been in it a long time. Do you know how many hundreds of thousands, possibly millions, this message has hit, and yet jack shit's been done. You know what I mean? So the song, and we've had new ones come out. We've changed the track, we've remixed it, we've changed the artist, and it's now sinking in. Whatever's happened, the technology, the internet, I would say, the explosion, handsets, and it's definitely happening now, brothers and sisters.
It's all kicking off.
Yeah, it's just unwrapped.
Too much.
It's just the light, man.
Remember, it's too much. You can do a search on I will refrain from saying the G word now. Well done. DuckDuckGo is my favourite one to endorse. And you can press that button and it will say how many million results in how many fractions of a second. You have got too much information. And like I posted on Facebook earlier, somebody sent me in a message that a solicitor had said you can go to your GP and get something COPD emergency pack full of, and we can all go to our GP. And I thought, whoa, hang on a minute, this can't be right. Why have I not heard of this? Our lass has got asthma. How have I missed a trick? So I went and searched for exactly what was being said. And the first result that came back out of the 10 billion in a tenth of a second for your information overload, number one top hit was the one I clicked on, and it said thus. If you're getting this message and you blah blah blah, please do not overload your GP. They have not these kits. They don't know where this come from. It's another one of them, you know. And in this information time, people that are trying to do good by sending these screenshots of bogus, infactual, non-concise. We're not 100%, and we ask you to do your own due diligence and research. We are not infallible, and we know we're near, you know, we're experts. We're just your fam having an entertaining chat. In this divine comedy. That's why it's entertainment, because of divine comedy. If you think, oh, you would talk law, but you're entertainment and divine comedy, that's why it's entertaining. And before him as well. So yeah, it's not just him, but he's one of them. Yeah, that's researched it. Yeah, brother, well said.
Is Kelvin last Josh X? I've always wanted to ask that.
No. 100% no, but I see where you're gone from. I like your train of thought.
Yeah.
It could be Josh X's dad, uncle, relative, distant.
I'd love to know who Kyron Last is before we get killed off by the state. If we do, I'm not saying we will, but you know, it could possibly happen.
No, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. It's nothing. It's the flu. We're in a season where it's typical to get a cold and a cough, and we've got smokers that have got colds and coughs in this cold time. It is also funny how only the upper echelons are getting tested when they are exhibiting signs. So don't go running away. Remember the manifestation. Remember the polarization and the magnetic. Remember the law of attraction. Now let me finish. And the law of attraction, the red and the blue and the colours, and what you're going heavily into red here. Danger, panic, blood, you know, red, you know, alarm, stop. Where we're in the blue and we're chilled out. We're on the grass. We're seeing sunshine, clear skies for the first time, Shadow. I'm seeing blue sky. I'm seeing the Chelsea bun. I'm seeing echelons.
I've been out every day, but I've been seeing the horses a lot. And there's one brown horse that he comes to me and he jokingly runs away from me because I ain't giving him no food.
Oh.
Yeah, this planet is, it's red, blue.
You might have to catch him and kill him.
I watch a lot of Charlie Freak as well. I love his stuff.
That's nice. So you've noticed the difference. You've been out, you've seen the animals, you're balancing. And Kev, you said something there. I didn't catch that, bro.
Yeah, it's probably just me, didn't I? Yeah, keep friendly with that horse, man. He'd catch him and eat him soon.
Oh, he's always on about all vegan here, lad. Shadow. Never, he would never do that, would you? He'd rather have
send me coordinates. Just joking, everybody. Just joking.
We know.
I still want the coordinates, though.
So don't despair. Remember the manifestation, the power. What you inwardly manifest, you outwardly attract. And so, you know, the clear blue skies are an indication to all of those that have been on the geo, pollution and control tip. These times in March, I've seen mans in t-shirts. You know what they're saying? There should be lockdown and nobody should be out. It's never been busier. On the people in the shop, I'm like, sunglasses, shorts, dogs, bikes. Hang on a minute, look at this. It's just fantastic. It really is. Everyone looks healthy. The lack of the planes has rendered the skies blue. That's all I can say. And I live where at this present time in my body, and I'm at ease. I've just realized. I'm not here to talk geopolitical, thermal, and all of that. warfare, but we have covered it, and we are aware, and we have get Lyndon and others on, and Sun and Moon and whatnot. So it is in our circle because it's harm, injury, and loss. It's a breach of the common law. It's non-disclosed. It's deceptive. It's a sin, is what it is, a crime. And so we are aware. And obviously, if you're solar farming and they're putting clouds up there, you're at a potential loss, which is liability for somebody. If they're, oh yes, we're doing it to save the planet. How about I've lost 75 grand this year while you're saving the planet? Who's paying my 70? I've got such and such illness. So it's nice to see them blue skies, Shadow, and we don't all we are aware, but you have to learn to carry and project and to hope and to you've got to have the faith, brother. To some extent, you need to ground a bit. Seeing the horse doing that and noticing that character. I noticed that you noticed that character in that horse, and that's what I like about them stories. That you are going out, he's doing that and cracking on. I want some videos. Can we have a vote? Who wants to see Shadow bareback horse riding? No gear, just on the horse. Shadow horse video.
Interfering with equine.
Naked Shadow on a horse.
Naked Shadow riding and
free.
Born
free.
Black Beauty music playing.
This is what they're doing.
Sorry, everybody, for that, but yeah, we've got to have a laugh.
There's a vision. There's a vision.
Kev, what are you saying? What have you got to say about things?
About
things.
Well, if you listen to Q and R, like, I think
he's off.
They're throwing out trump cards as well.
Sorry, Kev.
It's absolutely. It's just mad how I feel recently. It's just.
Well, have a look in the room. Let's see what the room's saying. And Kev, I want to hear from Kev a bit because we've dominated the chat. He's there quietly in the corner, like. Read the room.
I'm just behaving myself here. I'm checking the room out. Was that do voodoo in the
Hello to the 18. Thank you very much. 4 thumbs up. Grazie. I know we're going to get the usual 3 thumbs down. I do notice that 3 to 4 down. So let's balance the potential standard 4 down thumbs to the 4 up. Who else we got in the room? You see now, Kev?
Yeah, give it a like if you can, people. I'll just Anthony and Jerry are having a little confab about familiar places by the looks of it. Hello, Quinn. How you doing, mate?
Guitar, fiddle music, guitar. The dog what?
Yeah, I see that earlier. Wrecks the carpet.
Funny. Yippee-ki-yay. Just scanning the room, Shadow, and seeing if Kev's seen out or. Just took a minute. Is there any questions, any comments? Anybody got anything? What we've said, discussed, covered? I'm looking for questions and comments so as to answer and help you out. If we can, we will.
I haven't said much, by the way. I haven't been allowed.
When apples still grow in November, flowers still bloom on each tree, when leaves are still green in December. Well noted, G. Keyboard Tourette. I've never heard of that, but I like it. I do like that. Keyboard Tourette. That's a thing, it is now. Quinn's coined it.
We'll have that.
Candle. Something about voodoo and Kev there. I don't know what this is on about. I've lost See now, Shadow. You can crack on if you want, brother. I just wanted to just have a look in the room.
Yeah, Husky's just put a question in there. He just says, is the cabal being taken out or is it New World Order? Well, exactly. 50-50, isn't it? 50-50. I get a feeling, though. No, they're not going to gift us all anything.
Wait, Shadow, hang on. Let Kev go on and then ask after. 1 minute.
I don't think we're going to be gifted anything. I just can't see it. It's a nice thought. It's just antithesis to everything, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's just my feeling. But you just get to, it's probably not going to be good ultimately for us. But it is what it is, you know. It's got whatever happens. I hope in some way it is a good thing. But as I say, for everybody to get remedy, I don't think it's going to go that far.
No. Shadow, go on.
Yeah, I was asking what you think of queuing on because, like I mentioned before, that I'm seeing a lot of coincidences. I've been commenting on his stuff, right? He said, "We are the news." I retweeted his tweet and I went on Facebook. Right, I saw his sister share share a picture of Prince Charles. I'm like, whoa! I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think they're watching me, and I think they know me intentions. I don't know what it is. It feels mad.
What does? His sister sharing Prince Charles? The pic post.
Yeah, my sister did, but like, and then as soon as he had one, I shared it, and my sister shared it like right after, but I was doing it on Twitter, but she was on Facebook.
The answer to your question, as best as I can answer it, who is Q, is somebody close to the president, and they release stuff to their little consortium, and that little consortium is what is communicating on the layers of the internet in these chat rooms. So there is a direct man that is called Q, close to the Presidente, allegedly, and then there is a consortium of businessmen that Q feeds to, and that consortium of businessmen then finance and fund and manage through them civil shadow movements of. So that kind of explains that as it's laid out in the public domain right now and on Facebook and YouTube and videos as I've come to understand it. It's not my group, I'm not affiliated with them, I am no part of Q, but we are kind of little civil shadow movementers. And the fact that you've asked that question there is you're a little bit confused, and there's many ideas out there of what is and who and where and when, so we can't all answer that. I haven't got a definitive answer, but I hope that helps shed some light. So then we've got these information portals coming out that are the actual news, and for further clarification you will look at the documentaries and the claims such as the public displays of presidents getting together and objects and codes being passed. You can't deny that, to back stuff up, all right? You know symbology and codes, and you know when these two aren't the most honourable of men, but they've got a job to do and they are running powerful governments. But I don't understand how this can happen, but they are not directly related, but some little incidences are, directly related with that. So you've got that side of the aspects of it to look at there, where you've got these codes and you can see what is going on. So the last little bit I'll add then is to further indemnify and back up and gauge it without the usual BS whiffle waffle. Do you know what I would do? I'll do what I said I would do on the other video. It's still the same. You would scan and watch periodically and see what arrests are being made on an international level, not the UK, but the international courts. If there's any kind of international movements now, and then there's people that suddenly drop dead in high-ranking government, places here, you can see that the high-ranking governments and parliaments, and they don't return, and they're all disappeared. They suddenly die. That would be rather suspicious as well, and force the hand of a new management encompassing system, money as we know it, credits and currency and promises. Exactly. So as Kev said, we don't see equitable relief being handed to us on a plate, but there is a slim chance if international arrests start happening and there are grounds that we can get substance of, and it won't take long for man to work it out, not just us, then if that doesn't happen, and there's nothing public, then there's nothing happening, because what's kept secret is secret. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's secret. So there's no point in you drumming on about it, because it will always be secret.
Yeah. Just to say, Husky again.
What?
Nasara, Jasara, yeah, well aware of all of that as well. As I say, we'll see. What will be, will be.
You're all good men, and you're good Souls, I've met a lot of the scribes, and I haven't met one nasty, horrible, vibey, official officer type in this tribe that we found. But when I've gone out into the commercial, judicial, or sorry, due process, masquerading as judicial realms and so forth, I found horrible, dark, nasty, vicious, violent, aggressive, angry. And yes, it's about time that man, after all the blood, sweat, tears that have gone down, had a day of. And I think I'd break down and cry for about a week if it happened, not just because of my, but for the future. And just looking at these blue skies gives me hope. I know you might think I'm weird, but clarity, clear, the blue and the red, just times of the sunshine, Ra, Elohim Ra, Stovilla Elohim Ra. Bosh, go search YouTube for him. I haven't been on him for a while. That's when I last encountered Ra, other than videos I've done with Apep and the new. But yeah, you would again. Shush. Let's go in the room. Shadow, you still there?
Yo, I'm just listening, man. If you can hear me. Can you hear me, Dave?
Yeah, I know.
Hello?
Shadow.
All right.
Hey, calm down.
Hey, Scally.
Calm down.
I'm calm. I'm just, the madness is invading my eyes.
Jerry's gone. Night, Jerry. I think you might have
Night,
already
Jerry.
gone.
Cheers, mate. All the best. Blessings to the family, mate.
Like
And yourself, of course.
Mark Ceylon, you could go into loads. The ones who's been on YouTube saying this, it's just come to fruition. And the realisation of it is just, well, I told you so, but at the same time, we're like, oh, what the fuck's going to happen next? It's that realisation, man. It is hitting home, but people still don't see what's going on. It's an absolute fallacy. It's like you're living in a dream. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it is. It's something like that sometimes.
I went into
read in the
my
room.
market and
Sorry?
very, very low, man, I'm telling you. But we've got two supermarkets, but we're also so if I ever need anything, they'll just go there. Some kid was nice enough. I went into Aldi, let me have a banana. I just had the banana and got off.
Yeah, you can use local corner shops and stuff. You'll find that where your high street supermarket is sold out of all the essentials and the popular items. Anne-Marie's got a corner shop next door to her, so it's easy to nip in and get odd bits there. And you'll often find things that are sold out elsewhere in your corner shop for about the same price. They're not too expensive, and they've got rules in these commercial wartime, which isn't war, but it is war medicinally, microbiologically, and the rule of the war is if there's a time of emergency, you can't put your prices up more than 10%. So that's why they're all getting pulled up if they go into 200 and 300 and 400% for essentials that they're trying to maximise on. Go on, bro.
So this
Oh yeah, they've lowered the price. This is deliberate, man. When they panic buying, prices were like mid-range, and the stock market plummeting, mate. Everyone was just going nuts. I'm telling you. But
I'm telling
where
you.
I see it now, truly, have you ever seen a documentary called Alex Jones Endgame?
Yes, I may have. I don't like that name, but I do believe in the early days. Yes.
I think later on he joined. He might have joined a cult. I don't know. But first he was like the average Joe on the street, just going mad. He was on the street going, "We're not your slaves." as the Bilderberg and the
All right.
try something, try options.
We are, but you can go out in the street and shout, "We're not your slaves." But the fact and the fundamental belief is that we are still slaves. All right, going out on the street and doing that, it doesn't if change anything. It
Just
just
because you
looks.
said it.
Yeah. This is why we're here. Why we got tired. We're all tired now. And we're at the end of the tether. The world, the animals, the children are asking us questions. I've got Yanka coming home going, "Dad, if 25,000 scientists signed a petition to stop 5G," I went, "It appears they may have, darling, yes. Why have we got 5G coming in our school?" I went, "Well, I don't, you're a bit young for me to tell you in truth, but in walked off, bless her." I was like, soon, my princess, I will tell you all, but not now." Yeah. Hey?
She's very, I think she's, well, not mad, but it's like, in your perspective, in your private, she seems like she's very intelligent, the way you just picked the way you just spoke about it briefly.
She's come home from. Thank you for that. Bless you, brother. She's come home from school. The kid, in the yard, these young stars are talking about this amongst themselves. Plastic in bread, the topics now in there because they're getting fed it on their handsets. There's no filtration in the digital realm on these when they're at school. God only knows what they could be doing, with it. They're not allowed the phones in time of school, which is great. So when I ask that question, I'm a bit concerned here. I want to make safeguard and make sure and all these conditions are met. And they said, "Don't worry, they're not allowed access. So it's only at the beginning of the school, it goes in the locker. At the end of school, it comes out. In an emergency, if we need it, we can get it." I went, very good. So they haven't got access to the handsets. They're recalling it from the mind, and they're actually chatting in the playground about what go on. And if they are all these ones that are chatting. You see, Yankees found others that are conscious. I won't say awake because that's just wrong, but conscious of what is. They are alert and seeing. Being awake is being awake, but conscious, conscionable. You're in tune and you're balanced and you're on the way to being a self-initiate. So whereas I got on the self-initiate game as late 30s, we'll say, these are getting on it at 12 and 13. What? Halfway before us, yeah? So imagine the power in this generation coming. Yeah. So they are our daughters and sons chatting now. So well done. I am excited.
If they get on this.
Yeah, man.
I was playing with Transformers and I was playing with Transformers and Rock Lords in school at that age to make them silver, making skinny patches out of black ice and getting done. All these crazy things. Nothing about chatting about world. No way.
I was too busy pocketing my neighbour's milk because of the you used to have the milk cold you thought, yeah. Milk.
Them were the days.
I used to do a bit of head shopping, kicking some footballs, getting muddy.
Head shopping. Those were the days until you found a pond and then you heard your mate go splush, or you did, and you were like, "No, game over."
I did once, a skinny did. There was an advert, I think it was with Peter Kay, and he did a running pond. I did that in my local pond once.
Did you? Good lad, really. Legend.
Yeah. Absolutely mad.
I'm stood here just smiling silently. Sorry, everybody. I was picturing that. Back to the Kev.
Hello.
Wait, Kev was on the other cast last, but not last, the other cast, but one in the garden getting some moon rays shadow. Actually, it wasn't you, Kev.
Like yoga.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. So it's a nice sort of courtyard effect. So the neighbours, they get a good view of my arsehole.
Risshole. Yes. I want to know this. I want to know if you can answer me this riddle. There are claims that Asia and Italian demographic, family, clans, scientist, etc. Academic, though, remember, I've done experiments and tests, and they've all done tests, not just Italy, but maybe Spain, France, Italy, and China now, and they've analysed and shared. It is not peer reviewed. That's most critical, which is key. Things that are peer reviewed are endorsed by academic, institutions of medical. So this is just they've got together and they've said, "Shit, sit in the fan. Let's get out some results and see what we find." That's where we're at. All right. So it's not first-hand substantiated proof yet, but it's information about O and A types of blood. And they said, as far as I can recall, and I'm not giving medical advice, I'm just recalling what was said on a video that was sent to me from a medical environment that is not endorsed or peer reviewed, but is a collection of doctors talking about these results here. And they said O and A. O is quite resilient, it seems, across the age demographic, and A is maybe not so strong. So, yeah, I was just wondering. We've seen that it's classified because they said on the news that Prince Charles and when they was reporting that, the royal correspondent, they have a funny voice and the female like a little peacock, chickeny type of cackle, and she said that it's a virus that is it a virus or a disease? That one I need clarifying as well, please, because I'm sick of hearing one call it one call it the other. And this lady called it a virus that sees no boundaries or no borders, even the classes of man and how it can get infected. And I'm like, shut up, woman, that's standard. Obviously, it's a microbe. It doesn't recognise rich and poor. It just all. How dare you come and insult? Oh, what do you think we are, 6-year-olds? I was a bit, it's why I don't watch this shit. Eisen, and I just thought, yeah, well, they've got it, yes, and they have an extremely rich and privileged environment and life. So wow, yeah. Is it to do with classes? I thought afterwards a little voice went, classes, a little echo, classes. I was like, what do you mean? And I'm confused. And he went, classes. And that's all you get. I'm like, what do you mean classes? Classes. And I went, oh, classes, only the rich, the things that we've read. Okay, it is. We've all got the flu type symptoms, and those classes have got the molasses of the asses, for want of better. Sorry. Yeah, there you go.
No, the way you said about classes and stuff, like if you look at it from when we met, when we were in Bradford, we met Greg and I liked his stuff as well. How Queen's illegitimate and stuff, and he believes in queuing on it and stuff.
Who are you on about? The future king of England.com, Greg Hazlitt?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Sorry, but once I pointed out that the Queen is the equivalent of a Roman Caesar and blah blah, yeah, she's not. She is an imposter. I would agree with that. But how we get to that agreement is somewhat contrived and contemporary and not going to be agreed upon.
How many different roads could we try
about QAnon? But anyway, it's a tedious link there, brother. I can't say anything. He was on point, and he had to say what he sees. You see, we had John Winoa, was it, as well, come along and say, I'm the king. So once you have 2 or 3 men in a year come to you and say, I'm the king. No, I'm the king. Oh, well, no. Legion is what...
Kings and that, they always end up going to war. The cycle was always repeated, so...
Yeah, Battle of Hastings, we're all going back there.
But brothers, to come to a sovereign, initiate, self-masters of law, etc. seminar and say, I believe it's ironic because we're there about self-governance and I govern, I am governed, I govern myself. We're conscionable and awake with our actions, and we execute our deeds, and we do not we are of this world but are no part of it, etc. And then to come to somewhere where you renounce rulership of what we know via this, what would we call it then, cult, because when you follow instructions and they're not good ones and they're not good for you and you don't check them out and they're quite wrong, but you do them anyway, that's a cult. So, you don't come to somewhere where we are anti-cult, and then say, "Oh, I'm the new cult leader. What do you think?" Well, we're trying to get rid of cults, pal. They're not good for man. We can see different ways of management, and we'd like to have a look at that. I'd like to talk about how I want to be your new king. Well, we don't need kings. We're self-governing initiates, sovereign, whatever. And here we are with that. So it was a bit hard for me to. I was just polite and courteous in a way because um, we don't need the crown, do we? To be fair, throw three of them or whatever, four. There's that aspect. So.
Anders, how you doing, mate? Cleveland.
Hello. What?
Hello,
Any questions, comments? We got an open mic. It's a free run.
Yeah, man. Also, with this COVID bill that's passed as well, I don't know if we touched on it. It's just trying to fine people. Well, if a corporate entity is trying to fine you for something that doesn't exist, it makes the purpose of that police officer not worth being there, because then you could use their own taxes against them, the social distance BS, and just go, stand back, I've got no money. There is no money. Take me fucking pieces of paper called an IOU, because that's all it is. It's a universal trusted IOU, which has no value, never will have any value. If people think it has a value, you've been duped since day one, since you were born, and they create a person. Well, persons only exist on paper, and is the epithet, and you've got the big all caps surname, which doesn't belong to you because you're all the principal and surety to all debts. That's how it's working, and they're using a legal encroachment to control you, to manifest the agenda, because.
See, look at that. Look what he's just said there. What? Where did that come from? What? I need to rewind that myself and write that down. That's I'm going to quote that. Carry on. I've just interrupted your flow. Sorry, but that was brilliant. Beautifully said. Absolutely eloquent. Words of poetry in this battle of death. That was excellent. Sorry, Anders, they are the virus. Well said, brother. Continue, Shadow, with your portrayal of the legal bondage and surety of the totalitarian Roman Babylonian tiptoe of woe. I yield.
Yeah, they have been doing it. You know, if people understood what money is, right, and how Bill Gates and all them are doing it, because they have all the inside information. Like the way they use what money is, they basically give it to someone, and like imagine if you got. I'll keep it simple. Imagine if you've got like wheat seeds, right? They give them the wheat seeds, and then they get like 20 back. So they're doing that while the people like the middle class and the poor class are too busy acquiring liabilities. And liabilities, like for, see, a liability what takes money out of your pocket, and the asset of the book puts money in your pocket.
Yeah.
Well, we own. That's how they're doing it, because they understand that. You've got small business owner, and you've got big business, which is 500. And you got an investor, which is like, you know, your Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, all them. And they just don't. They're all diplomats anyway. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but if they do get Bill Gates, he's a very
Jill. Don't you mean Jill Gates? Jill Gates, as I now call her.
Sorry. Do you understand? Look look what he's creating Microsoft, right? And he studies biological weapons and stuff. And I bet he's dead savvy with the law. And I know the way I perceive him, I reckon he knows many different languages hidden. I bet there's loads of hidden languages that we don't know about.
Well, just let me stop you there, and you've given quite a lot there. I want to bounce back with, we've got Tesla Corp, sending ventilators via Tesla to America to back up and help out. Let's hope they're not transformative. I'm just joking. Yeah, you've got a lot there. Kev, you want to say anything or?
I was just going to say Lisa made a comment a little while back. She said I heard that Liz, the old lady who resides over there, is in company with her son Charles with a certain name virus. Yeah, that's apparently what's going about. Yeah, we wish the virus a speedy recovery. Just hope it gets well soon.
Yeah, parasites in general there as well. We'll leave that. And off back what Shadow was saying about certain things there. The Vatican have a telescope. Shadow, do you know the name of that telescope? They have more. They have quite a lot of telescopes, but they have a big one. Yeah. Do you know the name of the big one?
On St. Peter's like square where the crosses are.
Doesn't matter where it is. I'm after the name. There's no points for the location, I'm afraid. No. Try again. It's close, but it's not right.
Say what you see.
Can I have an idea?
It's think of what, like, I'm going to make it easy then. All right, you want a clue. The Vatican have a massive telescope, and I'm asking you if you happen to know the name of it. It is not a good name. Think of the worst name, right? This lad clearly doesn't know, fam, what the name is, so let's have some fun. Let's get him clued up, but without saying it. The Vatican's biggest kick-ass, I believe it is, telescope, and it's got a name, all right? You don't know what that name is. Just think of the worst name that it could possibly be called, and have a guess, and let me know what that name would be.
Bring some light.
Is there any innuendos to it?
It's not a good name. If you had a baby, you would not name your baby this name, right? That's all I can give you.
Or a dog.
Yeah. You'd very rarely... Go on.
I wouldn't call my baby Baphomet. That's a one.
Baphomet, no. You're close there. You're on the right lines. That's not your answer, is it? Come on.
It's not a fire answer, but what's its symbol?
The symbol, probably 3 6s.
Yeah.
What's its symbol?
Bring the light.
He happened to be called Lucifer, my brother. I'll put you out your pain. There's a telescope. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that.
The bringer of light.
That's it. Lucifer
and the Vatican.
Jesuit world is the light bringer.
That's the one we've been tricked, you see. I've said this years ago. It appears that Lucifer might not... Right, this is what I found out. Never mind it appears. What I found out from Santos, Jordan, and other scholars is this, and I've never heard this said on a video on YouTube other than once, and that was years ago, and I've lost the video. And it goes a little something like this. They have different names, like we found about split title, Lord God and Equity, and coming as Christ Jesus rather than Jesus Christ. I am with Jesus as Christ. Keep all that in the forefront. Here we go. Titles and names and positions. In above, in the heavens, before the alleged, this is the story, not I wasn't there, no first hand, all right, this is the story. Up above, fallen angels coming down. You've heard of Nephilim and the Anunnaki and what happened there with the who and the how and the sky gods. Well, at that point, there was also Lucifer, who was up above, and he was the angel named Lucifer at that time, so it seems in all of what I found. Then, when the battles and the fallout happened, he was kicked out. Then there was a different name assigned to the fallen ones, and what went off with the cursed why there was a flood. And you see, I've done my research now, and I can just freestyle it off in a little roundabout way. Then there was the downside, and there was even scriptures now that I found that say, what did he say? He said something like the devil offers JC the 9 realms, and JC doesn't say, "Nah, then they're not yours to offer." He says no. But he says quite a lot, but he says no in a nutshell. And he didn't argue. He didn't say you don't have the right. They're dads, or Jehovah, Yahweh, etc. No, no, no. And it was also written many things, but one important bit is that the devil had an agreement from being Lucifer to the devil, Beelzebub, Satan, X10, Roman X, etc. We've extensively covered this. Now he's down below and he's been bad. He's been banished and outcast. He's got a new idea, a new name, a new title. He's got title to the realm now. And then what's going on? And God says, they've had an argument or whatever it's written, and I can get these people to leave your side, but they will never meet me and they will never see me. He said, I will remain invisible to man and I will turn man away from you. And when I do that, the realm is mine. They had some kind of a wager, a bit like Brewster's Millions with the $1 thing going off, but like creator and fucking, wow. And it was done. It was said, it was written. So it is written. So now we have a different game, a different reset, a different title, a different player, but he's the same, but he's in a different realm, as above, so but all of this, yes. And this is just a basic middle, Romany type. You've got the different Bibles we've brought to you and the scriptures and the edits and the times. This is just after the long period of history of antiquities, and then at the point of it is other stories, as I've brought you with Apep and the video with the order and chaos. You will find that these stories are just rewritten and interpreted, and they are characters change, like we've brought you the character changes of Mary and Joseph was actually Isis and Horus before Mary and Jesus, sorry. That's too many names and years. I'm going through dynasties of a plenty, so I'm helping you out. But do you now see why you have these different places and things and titles, and why we have Lucifer is correct, all right? So I'm not a satanic. I've had to say that because of Crowley, Lovecraft and Hall, Manly P. Hall, and Alistair Crowley and H.J. Lovecraft, I believe, or something. H.P. Lovecraft, you'll find, yeah. And these three got into that and knew that, and they did sex magic, which is where we draw the line, which is what we've said about adrenochrome and stuff. We refuse to deal with that, but we will challenge it. And so you've got the magic there of that side. But Lucifer, I'll go further again. When you come out of a university and you've got your square around your neck and your square mortarboard on your head, you are coming out as a alumni. Gosh. Kev, sorry.
Oh, now I got all excited about alumni, mate. That's all.
Over to you. Comment. Off you go. So it's not such a bad, the devil and Beelzebub and Satan, one thing. Well, Lucifer and other names and places, another.
Bringing a lot of masses for him recently at the Vatican, I believe. So, we're all looking in the wrong direction, apparently. He's being distracted.
Madness, yeah.
Everything's upside down, Uncle Dave. What are we going to do?
Take some mushrooms and have a chat.
Fuck it, yeah. Sit out in the field, get fucked up.
Get high. That's how you get injections. We all need a load of DMT to sort it out.
Everybody needs that to sort your life out.
A mass meditation. Sonic.
Yeah, man. The way the Masons have been working, they've been planning it for years. They've been interbreeding with each other. It's just, they understand.
You say Masons, we say Enki and Enlil. There's Enoch, Enki, and Enlil. There's blood. You say Masons, it's bloodlines. 2 or 3 or 4 bloodlines. We call them Masons, Rosicrucians, not Germanic. What's the other one I was going to say now? Many Jesuits, loads of different titles and places and factions and bloodlines that are running, that are fighting amongst us, with us being at the lower ranks of it all. So we're getting a glimpse of it sometimes. It's like another reality entering ours, isn't it?
Oh,
indeed.
the Knights Templar were mid 15th, 16th century monks that were trained how to fight to defend against, inquisitions and thingies of. I'm not going to lay it all out. I've done some interesting posts about it. And when I found that out, I thought, hang on a minute, wait. Rewind bow selector. Come on, Kez. And I was like, whoa. Kez, just chill out. Kez gets proper mad when we go on like bow selector times on. It's not often. It's always 3 in the morning. And I'm like, no, I need to scream and shout. I need to let it out and I can't. So I just calmly went, whoa, rewind that bit there. Some monks that were godly men were trained in the art of self-defense with shields and swords and etc. And they did remarkably well. And, you look at the story of such things and I thought, and they ended up in London. So then we had in London some kick-ass, hard-ass knights, all right, that could kick ass, and they knew God's law. So what did they do when they get to London, the Knights Templar have we found? They forged the city of London. Not even William the Conqueror. When I say they were hard and well hard, William the Conqueror of 1066 couldn't get in. They were that well hard. So just remember that, and obviously it wasn't so much a surprise to them. They must have been prepared. And not only could they kick ass and defend and occupy, but they could recite biblical code. And what's happened with the biblical bondage and the code and the surety that brother and you and I have been on about with the fam. And when I realised, the penny dropped, I went, so we've been hoodwinked by some kick-ass monks that could, Shaolin Kung Fu fight style of such things, and they've got their hands on London at some point. They've ensconced themselves there, fortified themselves and gone, we kick ass, we know the Bible, get ready. And here we are, thousands of years later, fam. Bosh. Wow, what a journey. Amen to that chapter closing. You get me?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I get you.
Because it could be happening now. And if it doesn't happen now, your man here is going to lead you to it. And when I've ordered 1,000 sovereigns with green ticks on their equity, on the TDA accounts, we'll get your national insurance number. It works for America. Drop your digits, get your 6 numbers. The year you turn 16, and you find that, well, I can't help you now, America, but England we can. And then, wait, let me finish. Then we'll take 1,000 sovereigns, like on Family Fortunes. We asked 1,000 sovereigns, do you believe in TDA? They said, top answer, yes. Then we asked 1,000 sovereigns, do you want your TDA? The top answer was, yes. And then we said, okay, come this way. I'll be the lead claimant. You get behind me. I've got proof of claim. Let's go and see what we can do. One man can be easily ignored, but 1,000, 10,000, we don't even have to be sovereigns. We can be private, lawful men of the realm. We can use JC, you can use many things, Allah, Muhammad, peace be upon him, the prophet, and Peter Piper picks a pickle pepper,
Easy for you to say.
So yeah, I'm on it. It's happening. If it doesn't get delivered, then we shall. And what better proof can you have than all of this that we've got? So I yield.
Yeah, as I was saying there, Dave,
Kev.
what would you use to it's curious, and I know that you take you say, for example, I know you take your first 2 letters off and put the year that you got it with the rest of the numbers, which acts as an account number.
Yep.
And you can use
allegedly.
What you look for as well. You put the payment and claimant one. Allegedly we'll use that one. I like that word. Allegedly you use that, and it'll come up with all these ticks and stuff, and it goes into Bax and Swift.
Yeah.
And BIC and all that paper.
Yes, Wall Street and Bond Street and Wall Street, and in my banking, central banks. You see, the London Bank. The London Bank would be the central clearing. You have high street. Listen, imagine a river now. What we've talked to you about money and currency and river and boat people. You have a high street branch, Rivers, not just trees, rivers have branches, don't you? You get a branch of a river still, yeah, water branches off. So you've got the High Street branch, which is a little offshoot of the main big artery of water. And then you go follow down that river, down the river, and many songs about down the river, we'll leave them out. And you get to the end, well, not the end, but where it goes to the sea, the pool, the resource, the principle, the big kahunas, not the little streams. Oh, please, can I fill my cup? This is gushing geysers, massive amounts, volumes. And you go there and you go, excuse me, I'd like to have a chat. These are different banks, these ones, and different powers of merchant trading and whatnot. You go into your high street bank and say, hello, I'd like to talk about my TDA and such things as bonds, bills of exchange, transfer, endorsement. They're going to look at your blank because it's not what they do in everyday life, but it may be in the constitution of the bank, but only the head honchos and the London execs will do that, yes. So that's where you'd go and you'd ask the questions there. And if you are concerned about lunacy, locally embedded agents, remember, PayPal added such accounts to me and others some years ago. And we obtained items and added. Well, we added the accounts and confirmed them, and that was good enough. And then we did some testing, and then it didn't end well because there was incorrect authority and somewhat fraudulent. But who's the fraud? The one who opens account in someone else's name on behalf of, or the one that finds it and says this can't be right, and says actually it appears it is right. So I was here first. My name was given to me to use. I have a calling as a man, and I use that name. Mr. David Jeremita is dead. You could say he died of coronavirus if you like. I'll publicly announce it again. He's actually dead, everyone. There is no Mr. David Jeremita of this realm. There is only I, David, of the family and clan. My person is dead. He's always been dead. He's an instrument with no life. He cannot speak. He can only be charged. And they charge him and think that he's I. It's hilarious. So God, is a minimum there. When you say he's not a respecter of person, because you can't legally file a man, but you can file his person, you see, and you charge him. So it's madness, it really is, brother. But there's evidences there beyond refute. When you get an international corporate merchant banker such as PayPal adding accounts and authorising and confirming them, you know more than some others then, don't you? So when I say to you, I want to take 10,000 sovereigns to the Royal Courts of Justice or to wherever, the last bastion, you wouldn't go there initially. You could say, we found this and we'd like a DSAR on all of these, please. And we'd like to know if there is any information held on these names that we manage. And if it all comes back there is, then we all go as a lead claim and authorise them for our use. And if they won't authorise them to us, once we've asked for them and authorised them, then you'd probably go to the court and argue the claim. And when you take the claim to the court of a high court such as that, you need to provide the material facts of the claim and the proof. And you can do that articulately, honourably, concisely, and then they will have to answer you, won't they? That's just one thought I've had.
Yeah. Equity never suffers a wrong without a remedy.
That's not what they're going to say. That is not the answer they're going to give.
Yeah.
If only, fam. If only.
One day, maybe.
If anybody has got other ideas, put them down now. But that's the extent of our knowledge and work so far. And with Shadow bringing it up, and times of easement, coming and charging, discharging, mortgage relief payments, crashing economies, gold price rocketing as we predicted last year and said, liquidity, fiscal, game over. It's not, I told you so. It's still time to get in that and speculate to accumulate, because that's what you'll be doing. I'm not giving financial advice here. I'm telling you that the current system as we know it looks like it will crash at some point. Otherwise, they'll keep printing and printing and printing and printing, and they will kill us by printing. It's a fact. It will inflate and ruin the economy. So something has to give. And that's what some of us in this movement know. Something has to give, doesn't it, Kev?
Absolutely, mate. Something's going to go bang somewhere along the line. As I say, it's out of our control.
Now.
Wait there, sorry, Kev. Wait there, let me see. What did you say?
Me?
Yeah, you said what? You said you was going to say.
It's out of our control, was it?
Yeah.
That's
The way I
see what happens. I don't know how good or bad it's. Nobody does, but
Yeah, that's why we don't fixate on it.
No, there's no point.
Now,
Changing by the hour, minute.
Go on, Shadow. It's your time to shine.
the wedge lockdown is like I could see a food shortage, and it's gonna the way it's gonna get. I reckon there's gonna be a bumpiness before we can see a new. Before everything, well, I don't think we'll go back to the normal, but like I think things will change, and for the better. You do have an element of faith, but I think sometimes you have to take a risk, man. In these times, good risk, not bad risk, like. But
look at Quinn's comment.
Look
at Quinn's comment. No, sorry, carry on. But that's sorry, Quinn. Number one, condolences and thank you for that vessel removal. Oh, vessels, look, souls, vessels, your sleeve. Sorry, I've interrupted you, Shadow. I was just shocked by that little thing from Quinn there about his mum. It's very cold, shallow, but truthful in a way.
Yeah, it is because I don't know what the food how much food supply is going in your town and that, but I saw something around Birmingham. They were looting a poundland in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I saw that. They were looting. I think. Yeah, and they just wallop the windows. They just go mad for the bloody toilet roll and the stuff there.
Someone's gone mad for the Pope, according to Cleveland. The Pope has been arrested in undercover pedo sting. Stop the clock, along with other members. That's the golden ticket we're hoping for. That's not justice in ways that we could make. There can't be any justice done except giving the Pope to parents of afflicted ones that claim that things have happened. But that is a start. That's the start. You see there, Shadow? What claims claims are from Cleveland. Thank you, Cleveland. We'd like we will be searching and looking.
We're not walking around.
Hey?
Do you want everyone was on
yeah.
Do you reckon that was a queue post or something?
I don't know. You mean like that? You mean a bit like that? That ritual they had outside CERN in front of the statue of Kali, is it? And that ritualistic kiss killing, like the TDA Treasury Direct accounts coming out and all that information. Cleveland, you're right. You are right. It is a dangerous fraud. And do you know what? It's dangerous when man finds out that we have been legally slaughtered by our trustees and principal governors, of which we gave, much like the sovereignty that we gave to the Queen in her coronation, lest we not forget. We're not delusional here. It is all true. So I'm not having a go at you, but I say this with conviction and belief, and not at you, but to others that share the it's dangerous, and yeah, it is. That's why. But if you're in law, you want to go and claim something, you need to have the evidence of that. And if somebody comes along like the Heather Tucci, Jamal, and the rest, and we get directed, and we was kind of, again, we was helped. We didn't create that group. I didn't make any of this process up, but we was on the lines of, and some little angel come along and said, shh, there's a group here. There's 86 people in it. 86 when we went in there. It ended up at 37,000 when I left it, all right, in about 2 months. The fastest growing FB group ever. The most confusing, cutthroat, and full of international chat, which you've never known. It was truly a delight to see and be a part of at that time. But you are right. But the bottom line is dangerous fraud. It is dangerous when we find out that the papacy of Romanus Pontifex and Lex Mercatoria has put down these paper proclamations in front of the Creator and said and blasphemed as the vicar of Christ. And yeah, it is dangerous when we find out and we correct it, because we'll be coming for them. There'll be no bullets, there'll be no blood, but there will be payback, and there will be Catholic compensation of Most High. So yeah, I will take that message and say, don't anybody, Towers of London, El Londinium, town of, which I've told Anne-Marie, and our kid, things going wrong at any time. I'm sorry, but I've got a job to do. There's a message to get out there. There's information to sort, and there's claims to reiterate. And you're right. It's dangerous to steal, to proclaim that you own a man's soul, that you own a man's property, unum sanctum. And you go to a court and they're looking for the 3 venues of jurisdiction. They've got your body claimed because they've claimed it, and you haven't said anything. Who says that's right? In what sicko's world is that right? Have I suddenly entered a world where IQs have dropped rapidly and we've got no common sense now and we just follow each other like lemmings? That's a cult, So yeah, bonding man and claiming his soul, claiming the properties, and then wanting you to volunteer something so they can claim the name, the jurisdiction, and they can use the Roman doctrine of discovery. And no, I don't think so. It's dangerous when we come with the evidence and we say no bullets, no cutting of heads, no spikes, no portcullises, no chariots of fire, just a simple dragging you over the coals and stripping you of everything so you are turned into a have-not. And ideally, while I'm on this tip, Buckingham Palace, get that emptied, new children's home for the ones that have been harmed by the failings of this, bureaucratic, monstrous, demonic, heartless, multi-directional, lost paedophiles running children's services system. Let's get Buckingham emptied and let's get the kids in there and get some healing done. And I'll donate all of my TDA to get that done. I don't care about that. What I want is freedom and the bloodshed over. And you're right, it is dangerous, but it's a double-edged sword again. I need to breathe and yield, but thank you for that comment. That was excellent. I enjoyed that.
Also, if I could access my TDA, I'd just give it all away and just grow a big bloody farm full of food and just live off that. There's a saying give a man a fish a day, but teach a man how to fish, he can eat for life.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's why we're starving, and there's no access to some, these supermarkets where you're panicking there, Shadow, about the empty shelves. Matthew in Sheffield come up with a good one. Why didn't the government just order that all chains of supermarkets, are now under national instruction? They are now called access centres. The nurses and the police and all the civil servants are classed as high priority. They don't need to go into the supermarket and touch trolleys and breathe and cough because they're working with the sick. They can infect many. So rather than finishing the shift at 7 p.m, we could have an automated system there where they log on to the .com of said access centre. They put in a code. It goes bing, high priority. What do you want? You get it, and it's sent to your house the next day. Done. Government control. But we couldn't do that because, like we've said, it's to do with money and corporations and profits and bailouts and whatnot and mergers. But it may be that they do that. Who knows? But if man is greedy and man is selfish, and I see that more apparent day and day. So we're not going to suddenly find trust and love overnight. No, we're going to get worse. You're right. You are right to think that.
Because I've always had this mad astuteness, man. I don't know what I've had it since I was a kid. I could see things quicker than most people.
Can I stop you? Out of love and respect, Netflix and the series last year, Pandemic, and such things like The Purge, I rest my case. Go on, Shadow. Programming.
I've always had this thing. I've had these dreams that these mad things would come to fruition since I was a kid, but I couldn't put it into words or into conscience until now. I've always, like where Morpheus meets Neo and tells him that there's a splinter in his mind,
Yeah.
And he goes, "You are a slave now," just like everyone else, born into a prison that you cannot taste, touch, or smell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like sitting there subconsciously. I'm like, "Oh, is this true?" And then, like, round in me mid-20s, it just blew open. I'm like, what? But now, in the present now, it is just gonna evaluate now. It's just gonna go on and on until there's always light at the end. So, like you say, of course there is. I believe in that doctrine wholeheartedly.
This is night time.
If people start waking up to this and realising what money or whatever tokens,
Matrix.
paper are worth, they'll start reevaluating themselves and on saying, "I don't want to be the trustee here. You're the trustee. You work for me, and here's a check. See you later. You're all insolvent. Schedule 1 of the Insolvency Act." Unfortunately, I don't know whether that stands due to the present crunch times that we're in through lack of.
There's emergency time, there's emergency trust. It doesn't stand, it would stand in commercial prior, but at present now it's all different, you're right. But we are already bankrupt, so we can't go bankrupt and bankrupt and bankrupt. Kev reiterated the other day, Chapter 11, bankruptcy and so forth. So it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? A big mess.
Yes, it's 31, whatever it is.
Wait, what's that, Kev? What are you saying?
Saying since, 31.
The ones have been telling it.
Oh, on here, Kev, a minute. 1 minute, Shadow.
And actually, they're saying really about 1869, I think, officially. So we've been acting, in bankruptcy. So you can't actually pay for anything. That's the rules. You should be offsetting it. We should be saying to the revenue man, "That's the process. Let me tell me what it is. I understand that's what it is because we're in Chapter 11, so I can't give you anything. So I have to do it that way. Tell me what the process is, please."
And can I just say, before I forget, gentlemen, when we talk about equitable remedy, most men, I shouldn't say this, but I've read some of Dom's comments, and I'm doing my research, and I'm being a little bit of a inquisitive little. I'm one of the creator's little shitbags, if you wouldn't mind me swearing there. That's my job. God's little arstard and the creators, and that's our job there. So when you want your equitable remedy, would you settle for credits in a bank? Would you settle for a card that you could charge, or would you say you want it in bullion and troy ounces or so forth? Yes, for and what would you want settling there? So when you've got this realm of money and credits, and as you say, in bankruptcy and chapters, and what it's happened with the insolvency, and what we've found with the years and going forward, and how they've changed, and the decimalisation of the pennies in the pound, and all of the tricks. What we've got now is rubbish. It's worthless. Some zeros on a computer screen means nothing to me at all. It's not anything of value. It's not tangible. You can't take it with you.
In fact, they are, because they're closing all the branches.
What?
I've looked on there, because I bank with Nationwide, and all the branches are starting closing.
Nationwide.
Yeah, all the branches have practically been closed down. I reckon there's in the hierarchy of positions, I reckon they knew this event called the coronavirus was going to happen, because that's the way it is. What's going to happen, I think now, there's going to be an inflated and deflated market, and then once the markets crash again, that's when you're going to see, possibly, I hate to break this, but if there is civil unrest, it's going to be a lot worse than it was 2 weeks ago. It's gonna be, there's gonna be people driving around. You know, when Boris Johnson made that announcement, people fine you for not staying in. No, you can't. If people understood their capacity, the police would just go back in their cars.
Right, so can we pin that there? And let's pin that there. Kev, have you got anything to comment on that? What he's saying there, or?
That was miles away, to be honest with you.
He's on about if there's a telling you not to walk around, and if you get caught out, you might get a fine. And he's eloquently pointed out it's not you that gets a fine. If people knew who they were, and then I just stopped him. Yeah, I stopped him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't give him nothing. But
you know, if you tried explaining to a common purpose police officer what money is, it was like £100. So what's £100 of what?
Yeah.
Is it paper?
At least it says sterling on the Scottish
so
note.
I was used to
Hey.
well, I can't pay you that because, you know, and then he tries to arrest you for that. Oh, hold on. Have you read Section 4 of the, I think it's the Debtors Act? And it says you can't be punished for a debt under the... I've got it here. It's a big book. I've stood on some glass today in my house. I don't know why. Ow. I'm very unpredictable. It's under the 1869 Debtors Act, Section 4, and it says you can't be punished for a debt in any fiduciary capacity. So if they're trying to enforce that, you've defaulted in by his own acquiescence.
Yeah, well, it's like, fiduciary capacity. If you've got fiduciary capacity, you can't be suffered a loss.
You know, because they want.
Did you hear that, Shadow?
Yo.
Did you hear that? Go on, Kev.
If they've got a fiduciary capacity, then they cannot suffer you a loss. End of.
That's right.
So if they have, and if they haven't got a fiduciary capacity, then they're only agents and have no fucking authority whatsoever. Excuse my French. Fact.
Spot on. And also, as well, equity does not aid a volunteer, so...
Absolutely. Don't give it up.
Yeah, that's an important one. Any volunteer, as I said, with the 3 elements of jurisdiction in the court there, if they want you to give them the name, then you are, how can I be a name? I am not a name. I have a calling. I am called. And, you know,
I'm not a thing.
It's Darren Brown, mind tricks, misleading, cognitive dissonance. And as I've said from my research, they already have 2 jurisdictions of the 3. And they're going for the doctrine of discovery under the Roman rules there. So if man is, let me just say then, if man is out, woman, man, and you've got a family and you realise there's no baby milk, and there's an order or an instruction, and it says don't go out. Now this is what I mentioned earlier in the chat, when you see something and you've got a decision to make. So there's no army out on the street. There's not, you know, you can get to the shop and get the milk, and on the way to the shop to get the milk, which is a valid essential trip, I would argue, yes. An oversight, whatever, you know, maybe you had a tin and you opened it and you was tired and you spilt it all over the floor. So because it's now contaminated, you've now got no milk, whatever. And you're out, and then you get stopped, and whatever country you're in, if you, as long as you have identity as a person, this will be valid. And you get the interaction happening of the state troop officer, and they go through the usual, and you explain, as I've said, essential baby milk, accident, out of it, need some, and you end up getting a fine. You know, then he's right. Shadow's right. Well, we're not here to tell you to ignore the public trust, because the public trust is that everybody's going to try to spread germs if there are germs. If there aren't, we'll deal with that ever and going around places and looting, robbing, whatever. You've broke the public trust. We talk about trust and it's the power in the private, but we have a public trust as well, whether you like it or not. That's your common law area and the outside world. You know, that's a public trust. We trust that you won't just...
trust in it, Dave.
Eh?
to discuss.
You got law, the common law of obligations and public trust and discretion. You've got millions of things. I can't get into it all now, but it's down to how you see it. I see it as such, and the governance and the tierage of the peerage put it as. So you've gone out and you've had an incident. You've got a fine now for going out in restricted, permitted, prescribed areas, and you've got a fine. So when you come back, you can accept that on behalf of your person, everyone, and you can deal with that the same as you have everything else. It doesn't mean that you're guilty or anything. No. It's just that there's a legal issue and you've been caught out, but you had to feed your baby. So you went and got the milk and you've got a charge. Your person has been charged because they will say, what's your name? I don't have a name. Oh, right. So you want my vehicle. What? You're walking. No, you want my vehicle. My person is my vehicle for charges. What? Don't confuse me, Dave. No, it's true, fam. Scribes, indigos, light workers. Your person is a vehicle. The birth certificate is a vehicle. It's a vehicle to come in and go out. It's a two-way vehicle. It is a unilateral vehicle. It's like Willy Wonka's lift soon, but we just keep to the two ways in and out for now. Charging and discharging is what we're doing there. And yes, you see, so that charge is for your person and you discharge it with your person using your unilateral ways of, and that comes into law. So there you go. It depends how you articulate that. But if somebody says no, all we say is, okay, well, we've conditionally accepted and we've put down our remedy. Whoever's saying no, we need to have a chat with. The first question, hello there, are you legally trained?
Also, as well, with smaller shops as well, they're trying to go cashless. So
And that's to a judge. Sorry. Go on.
I just want to speak to
trying to
Queen.
go
Yeah,
cashless,
Queen.
and they say,
I understand the.
1 minute, you're both speaking. 1 minute, Shadow. Okay, go on, Kev. 1 minute, Shadow.
Yeah, Queen. I get that. I was just sort of leaning, sort of pointing out. At least the Scottish money, at least leans towards something tangible. Ours is just pounds.
Plastic.
For nothing. This yours is pounds sterling. Regardless, at least it's leaning towards something. That's the analogy. I appreciate what you're saying. That's the sort of analogy I was trying to make from it, sort of thing. At least it was leaning towards something, even though that's total bollocks and worthless as well. At least it claimed a bit more than our notes do.
Stamps. What about stamps?
Well, there you go.
They might
yeah,
be
stamps
back.
are
Go on.
aren't they?
Go on, Shadow.
Stamps are gold back, aren't they?
Silver or gold, one of the
me.
two. They're backed by metal, precious, yes. They are, but money isn't. But stamps are. So when you go bottom right, listen, when you go bottom right, top right, and you're adding value consideration and all of this, you understand now a bit more. It's not just that it's a quick picture of the Queen's head. It's not that it's a stamp. It's the fact that the stamp is bonded to that paper, like when you do a public side and a private side, front and back. Your public and your reverse private. Then you got your stamp on there. You've got an instrument, internationally, lawfully recognised, irrefutable, speaks, correct, everything on it, and you've added value to it as well. You may be an autograph, because when you don't put a signature, you see the signature is the equitable asset that you affix on behalf of the person, but you accept full liability and are the person in their world, not my world, our world, but that's how it goes. So when you neglect to affix a signature, what is missing from that document now? It's got authority, it's got everything it needs, but what does it need more so? It wants the autograph, the thumbprint, there's your authorship. You're on a boat, it's an authorship, dangerous still, it's not our realm. Remember, we didn't make up the print, the mark, the thing, we're using somebody else's.
Southwesters and life jackets on.
You put the stamp on, so the stamp is on. The stamp is on to add the value and the instrument of the areas of, as well as the authority in the thumbprint, which doesn't add the value because it's no longer legal. Yeah.
Thumbprints.
Yeah, that was
one thumbprint, two thumbprints. Right, I'm just going to shut the mic off a minute because I'm going to go and make a drink, and it's going to sound like I'm blowing up.
All right, Kev.
House.
Nice one, bro.
Or you can use it as a check, because it's an inchoate instrument, and anyone who, without anyone's admission, that's what it says, Section 20 of the Bills of Exchange Act, it acts as a prima facie authority.
What's this?
Section 20, Bills of Exchange
What
Act.
acts as a prima facie of authority?
What you just talked about.
The stamp or the thumb? You're on about the stamp, yeah? bills, because it's a bill, it's obviously money, it's not the thumb. Thumbs aren't money, thumb's blood, man. So it's got to be the stamp, the bill, the sign of prima facie. Yeah, you said there. Value.
Yeah.
Bosh. So thank you. You're just a legend, you are, just to come out with that. That's what I love about you. Wow. You're just, yeah. And the
I do.
scribes.
About a few months ago, I started watching someone on YouTube called Robert Kiyosaki, and he's really good with the financial system.
Constitution of the banking world. Yes.
Oh yeah, he understands investments, what taxes are. You got something called a cash flow quadrant. You've got employment, small business, big business, and investor.
Oh, and the markets types, yeah, and then you've got got prime and subprime, haven't you, and different types of investments, bonds, and in ways that they do the investments risky or guaranteed, like in pensions and buildings rather than in other things. Or I don't know how to do it now; it's all changed. I'm not a financial investor, but get the gambling or steady flow return, yeah, and yeah, they have in these vehicles and special purpose vehicles and finances and bonds. You'll find. Yeah, in the video that I did, I give you quite a bit in there, and you think a vehicle is just a locomotive, invention. It's not. It's many things. A vehicle. YouTube is a vehicle for our messages and casts. Vehicle. The instrument is a vehicle. Driving license is a photo ID card, and you got your paper part counterpart. Yeah, don't. When someone says, "Can I have your driving license?" I would go for the paper part counterpart, and it confuses them. And they're like, "I asked for your driving license." Because, well, that is a driving license. It's the paper part counterpart of it. No, where's the card? Oh, you mean the photo ID card? The driver's ID. It's not a driving license. I think you'll find, officer, and I think you'll all if you check. What I'm saying, the photo ID plastic card is just a photo ID card. It's got details on it. That also is a vehicle. It carries information. It's not a special purpose vehicle because it's not financial, but it is connected to finance. But it's a vehicle, and it supposedly it could be a special purpose. Actually, thinking on because it's only for drivers and it's only for commerce and it's only so it has a purpose. Yeah, I'd argue that a little bit, debatable. But certificates, birth certificates, passports, special purpose vehicles, finance, and an envelope with lots of instruments inside it of a monetary value that may go up. People will buy them.
Yeah, man.
Prime, subprime.
Yeah, as of before, they're trying to go cashless in the shops. They really are pushing it. As well. If they say, "Well, I haven't got a debit card," well, you can't refuse payment.
No, listen, I've got an argument. Listen, I've got an important argument now. If you don't have, we can go cashless when everybody has access to a cashless system. But at this present moment in time, nobody, not many, have got the knowledge and the access and the inclination to want to choose to go private. Now remember, government works for man, not man works for government. Now corporations are masquerading around as governments and telling us what to do with like the prima facie of it, the assumptive presumptiveness. So yeah, if we're going to go cashless, then that means everybody needs a chip to me, or everybody needs a handset or a device, and that can be tracked, monitored, traced, to cut off. It can be cut off.
We've already got devices. Too late.
Well, it's some expense, but okay. Yeah, the homeless, they don't have mobile phones. How are they going to use that on a wireless access point now? What do you do with the homeless and others that you've lost your phone and you need to get money and stuff? What are you going to do now?
They're all getting killed.
So I don't get how they can use a virus for to say, "Oh, we're going cashless." No. If you don't say you're going cashless, so how can I pay you then?
That's speculation, and that is you've just speculated there. I'm saying this as a brother, but you've made a claim that we're going to go cashless, so they've invented a virus. That's partly a story that's going around, but that's not the mainstream narrative, and it's not been proven. It could be. You could be right, but you need to be able to source what that's just a belief that some people have. They didn't invent a virus. to go cashless. It could just be the flu that 80% of us have, and 20% have been targeted by a shadow civil movement that is here to cleanse in the period of Hygeia up above us. So, below as above, as it is to be. So, I appreciate where you're coming from, but the others that are listening, like you and I, that are not so secure, then they will have these. You be careful what ideas you put into the listeners' heads. If it's validated, then great. But if you're just speculating, sometimes it's a bit. You try. I know you're meaning well, but it can be negative. That wellness can do bad things, brother.
Yeah, I see where you're trying to articulate. I'll try and be a little more articulate.
No, we
Well,
love it. Still, look, we're saying it with love, but we're here to positively
yeah,
boost.
there is documents out there proving this. There's videos proving it. That this is all planned,
Agenda.
planned
So you might.
make you all go not use what you call money, promissory notes, cash, or whatever, to use this virus or whatever it is to forward
Usher in. Yeah.
because it is. I've been watching Anonymous as well, and he says the 20th of March they're going to the countries in 7 weeks' time are going to use a Wuhan style quarantine. So this is in several weeks, but if we get through it quickly, I think we'll be all right. But I'm a bit sceptical about the forced vaccine. They're trying to get vaccinations in, and I don't want to. Listen, I'll never ever get vaccinated. Just don't want it. It's just not for me. But there is calmness in the storm. I also think that in a way, if we all just stick together, we can all just pull through this conspiracy against the people. But it is coming true. They are trying to go cashless, and people are saying, "Well, it is a way of they're trying to make people go into like in malice and stuff, using extortion tactics and all kinds, because in the way, if they use that as within, so without, that's what they're trying to, in that doctrine as well. So, whoever goes up with, we can refuse you, but, and then you could say, under what jurisdiction? We don't need a law. I was in Holland Barrett saying that, and he goes, so I'd like the ice cream, but I want to pay you, but you're not giving me any description, so I can't work with you. Do you understand what I'm saying, David?
Yeah, I get you,
Yeah. It's just
No.
the way Jolo,
It's Kevin, not me.
was back when I was saying stuff. He was like, I did put the ice cream back, so I couldn't be bothered. It was the day before the lockdown happened, but now that shop looked bare empty. Olin Barrett, I reckon that'll be the first company in a long time to go in administration, because it's it's an house shop, and they want people on these GMOs. The pharmacies are still wide open in the supermarkets, all packaged, mate. You've got a full selection of pills, Easter eggs,
Mm-hmm.
in Asda, and all.
That's an idea. Pills inside Easter eggs. What a present.
There you go.
God, Lord. That's a classic, that
Brilliant
one.
marketing.
Thank you,
Floyd.
Shadow. He's just copyrighted that now. That's his intellectual property copyright claim. As of today's stamp time mark of the video, it's yours, Shadow. Wait, listen. Before I forget, I heard Theresa May, when she was in Downing Street, so that was a while ago, putting through measures so agency workers to get paid in 2 years' time. So that would be about 2021, because she's been out for a bit, hasn't she? Actually, in about 2 or 3 years' time, it was close because my ears pricked up. I went, "Whoa, that's not far away." What do you mean? You can only get paid if you're an agency worker if you have a credit card or some kind of online like PayPal account or something. They said credit card, and I think it was a merchant bank. I'm not trying to advertise, but I think they said equivalent to PayPal or a credit card. So you'd have your funds sent to you digitally, and you wouldn't have a bank, and then you'd obviously incur fees and charges and whatnot, and you'd get access a different way. So what you're saying, I can give some substance to with Theresa May Downing Street in the Parliament when she was the Prime Minister, and there was other parties pushing through for this corporate. So what happens is big business as lobbyists and whips and they do whipping and lobbying, and it's all a bit contrived here, and that's how voices get heard and things get passed through. It's not our voices, because we don't have enough money to pay for these services of whipping and the lobbyists and what they do, but they have meetings. I'll give you an idea of some of the documentaries that I've seen, and this bloke's made a spoof scene, and he's like, I've got a product. He says, and I want government to buy it. So this is kind of what happens. And then he goes through it all and that, and there's like these men, do you think I can talk? These men can talk. And they're like trying to organise meetings and win them over, and giving them all these luxurious things, and meetings and places and times and meals, and looking after them and buying them basically. And it's quite interesting, the other side of it, how it works. So yeah, what you're saying, if you do a search, you'll find that they were trying to lobby for those type of ways of ments of pay. So any chance to get, they'll get it in, I reckon. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Just the operators, investors, and stuff like that.
We're a business. Your person's a business.
More to do with this as well. If they use a virus to try and make you not to fulfill an obligation, because equity always imputes to fulfill an obligation, and they can't stop you from ascertaining goods.
Kev laughing.
I like that one.
So,
he's a legend, isn't he? Full of legend.
It's absolutely mad. It's either the left-hand path and the right-hand path.
Shadow Dynamics, for the attention of the fam scribes, Kevin, and the world, Shadow Dynamics is actually the man under Q. He's the leader of the Shadow Civil Movement, hence his name, Shadow Dynamics. He makes out he's laid back and what. I'm sorry, Shadow, I'm going to out you. He is the man you've been looking for. Interview with Q. Here he is. Look.
Exclusive right here.
I've let you out.
Exclusive.
Storm in the court.
Shadow,
get it out there as soon as you can, people.
I'm not putting up with this nonsense. Look at this milk. I've got
what are you saying, Kev?
Sovereign paralegals expose queuing on in live broadcast. Excellent. Yeah, that's brilliant.
Sorry. Let's look at the room. What we say, we're gonna.
Just for a giggle.
How are you feeling? You two, are you all right? We've been going a while. What going on in the room as well?
Yeah, I'm I've been a bit quiet because Shadow just keeps talking over the top of me all the time.
Gotta do it.
Sorry, Kev.
I don't feel like. I don't know.
I feel like I'm being bullied.
Do you reckon this will last? Because I couldn't give a rough estimation. he's not going to do this and then do it for 14 days. It's not happening. I don't care. He's not happening.
We're not looking at the numbers around the realm and what's been reported, and the deaths have been horrendous in other places. They've overtaken Wuhan and Asia massively now. So yeah, you're right. If because of the fake news and where we are, none of us can say for real. And the censorship. It's a ship of censoring, it's another like your author ship there. So it's a boat and it's censoring, and we're getting mainstream narrative. So just bear that in mind. Brother Alan's here, look, and he says, "Why are your live streams not being recommended to me?" And why aren't they? That's another element of contrivedness that we're aware of.
There's that going on.
Also, well, how many more branches do you reckon they'll close? Like the big building societies, like Nationwide, Lloyd's, Welsh, Santander, any other, Halifax. I reckon there'll be a lot more closed if this continues to be a lot. I think this, and once if this continues, I think the food will slowly run out, and people will just. I don't want to say.
You've said it about 4 times on this cast. If you listen back to it, you are concerned about the markets running out. It's not just your concern. Kev's been on about it for a bit. No, he hasn't. It's everybody's concern that the man will not be able to feed. So yeah, because we haven't got farms and seas, and like in Greece and Italy and coastal areas, you've got a bit of farmland, you've got animals for those that eat them, you've got the sea, the fish, and then you've got the land and the vegetables, the chickens, etc. And you make your way along. But here, if the access point, they are supermarkets, in commerce, but really in life, they're just an access point to get what they call groceries. I'd argue that not most. And it tastes like food, but guess what? It's plastic chemicals and BS, and gluten.
What is the etymology for groceries, I think? Would you know, Josh? Groceries.
G is God, isn't it? We had one about the farmers in the day when they were feeding their animals, and we were in the realm of chattel and ancient law. Where were we going here? I can't remember all of the chat. It was a biblical, lawful, legal comparison. And farmers, animals, flock, wedlock, livestock. It was one of these ones. And you get groceries. Was in the book for animals. The farmer, when he's getting all the different animals feed, would go to get groceries, and then we go to the supermarkets to get groceries, which are actually access points for food in reality. And so the access points would because let's think, we were expecting this in Brexit. It's not a surprise and too far away from where we was at Christmas, markets and food and Brexit and licenses. So now we've got this happening where international might not come here, and we'll have to adapt. We'll have to live on what resources we have. We're going to have to, it will be a concern, and people will have to use the land to feed. Otherwise, we'll be in a bit of trouble, I suppose. We can't live.
What I suggest is start in potato bowls and start becoming a gardener. I'd suggest you probably, if you can, in the near future, get on YouTube, learn how to grow stuff, and you'll be able to eat for, if the seeds don't run out, you can probably get 3 months of food easy. While civil unrest, or you could put yourself out there, use the seeds and grow the food, and that way there'd be no civil unrest because you're taking that mindset away from them. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, the fear and the lack of food, starvation and gang warfare. Kev, what do you say? You still here, brother?
Yeah, I'm still here, mate. I was just thinking about putting the gang together when it all goes tips up. When it all goes Mad Max.
Tom McDonald coronavirus.
Controvirus.
Sorry, thank you, Cleveland. I will check that out. So I would like to say that I've had a chat with. I see comments there to Mum Lisa. There you have. We have actually got officially. I'd like to say two mums. I was speaking to Nonna earlier on the telephone. And telepathy, Greek word. I need to tell you about that. Wow, Roy. She's been catching up on videos, and I said that we've got Sister Lisa's been around, and I've been waiting for Nonna to drop in so we can have the two mums officially. And Nonna's been looking after the clan literally, and she said she's going to be around in due course when all is well. So she's well and good, and she's keeping abreast of things. But it's good to see. And I want one day when we're going to have everybody. There's a good, I think altogether about 80 to 150 of you that come on and chat. I know most of the names and you're all blue just about now. So it's nice to see. But one day the right ones will mingle and we'll have like the 100, 120 mark. And that will be a nice podcast, let me tell you.
Oh, that'll be epic, man.
3,500 scribes, 150 wouldn't be hard to, too much to ask.
Well, we used to get it, didn't we, on...
You're contracting with the devil somewhat, aren't we?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm just saying, at
good.
one point, before we shut the old page and that down, we were certainly drawing those numbers, if not more.
Yeah, it was. That's the thing. We shut things down when we was in the prime. And there was other times where Kev and John and others came in. I'll be careful with the privacy, but other members of SPL's Facebook came in, and we had a good old. We did. It was really, really, really lively and getting shared, and it was working well. But because we had a divide and we had some unconscionable issues, and being a trust ambassador, coming on the realms and saying the triangle, everyone, trusty, not just me, but I was one of the voices at the time echoing it, through finding it, and then to find out that the group was corrupted and didn't have trust, I was like quite embarrassed, and I was like, sugar, we're going to have to call it a day for many and various reasons. And the Facebook group was so big, and we had Kev. You must have seen some of the posts there that was like women and just say we're in a car and we've got the mans here, we don't know what to do, and it was getting really busy and full on, and it was a lot of responsibility. It was like, hang on a minute, we need a wage for this now, because as serious as it is and as lovely as it is to help, you back me up again, there's not only live things going off and wanting to be, and I was 25 and here we are now live and direct dealing with the bailiff removal services. And, I'm responsible, these are responsible, and there was all kinds of madness going off that was really took me by shock, how quick and how fast and, how serious. And then the messages and the notifications, it took over my life, it really did. And I just says, look, we've got to reject. And we did. Kev, do you want to echo any of that, please? No, is the answer there?
Sorry, mate, right at the wrong moment.
All right, he's clearing it. Me.
Yeah, I was just choking to death.
Yeah, Dave Silver's actually really good, man. Tell me a lot. I used it with make you can breathe, make a breath so much, and as well, I was breathing a lot better today, right? And I put some tin foil around me smart. Well, I can breathe like I was 20 again. You know what I mean? I feel great in the breath aspect.
Nice to know. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking going over to
Sean guy's really good for that.
1 minute, right, that Kev.
I'm
radiation.
considering going over to.
Can't hear Kev.
Oh, sorry.
Fucking hell. I was going to go back over to Ethernet, shut all the Wi-Fi off.
Yeah, Ethernet, cable. Yellow cable of joy, yes.
Yeah, but I'm close enough here, it won't affect me, and it's a better connection anyway.
Yeah, I do that,
yeah. And I can do it with the phone. I can get an adapter for the phone even. So, yeah, because I've known nothing but, I think, Wi-Fi, actually. So it'd be interesting to see how I feel if I switch it all off. I think it'd be a good blind test, having known basically nothing but it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the room now. Sorry, I'm listening. We're all good here. It has been a good chat. I do want to go. I am tired, and it is 20 past
Oh, it's
12.
coming
So
up for 3 hours, isn't it?
yeah, we've had a good natter. Shadow, you have dominated it, but you have been for. We get along. We have got connections, and you obviously Kev is there as well. I'm not being singling out, but chatter wise, Kev's been quite quiet, so that's why I left him out in this respect here because it's been a joy and a pleasure, and I hope we've helped you in some way, and I hope you. I think you've helped. I know you will have helped others with how you put things out, your intent. I can see you smiling when you speak in my mind. I can hear your smiles. You are a good energy and a unique soul, and I thank you for your time and your info, brother. All right.
Well, like, if you into astrology and chart readings, like,
No, you're supposed to say thanks, Dave. That was a lovely, very kind thing. See what I mean with phone? It just don't give a. Well, I don't know why I bother anymore. I just don't know why.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Of course, I appreciate you, man.
I know I'm messing. I'm pulling your leg, soft lad. Go on. Sorry, I've ruined it.
When I started reading charts and stuff, and I started questions. It's like, how do you know this? I'm like, what? It just blew me head. And Santos as well. He talks about how people are deficient in cell salts, you know, and you know, how you work it out is see where you're born is and when you were conceived, and then you're deficient in those three salts.
Wait, from what I know, let me help you out. From what I know, man is in the womb 9 months. While you're in the womb, 9 months. Oh, well, let me make this easy. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, stop. We're at 9. That's the salts of the zodiac that your body contains. So we stopped at September 9. October, November, and December is when you're out. You first, 9 months, and then it's you're born. So these are the 3 months that you're missing out of the 12 because you're out. You was in for 9, add 3, 10, 11, 12. By on the .com, we're not trying to get you there, but I have taken that. I did get into that, and I spoke to a lady called Sarah on FB some time ago, and she enlightened me to a bit of this, but not as much as what Santos had there. When I heard Santos, it reminded me of Sarah, and then he said, get the PDF Salts of the Zodiac. And when I got that and had a quick skim through it, I was like, aha. So if you, whatever month you're born, for me, just bear with me, May. So then if you take May, I've already had the 9 months before. So all you do is go June, July, August. So then they're the 3 months that I will need the salts of. If you're born April, you'd go May, June, July. If you're born September, you go October, November, December. It's the 3 months. Is that something?
I was born in the afternoon, so I was fucking in June, July, and August. Would you say? Wait, that's what you said.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, if you look, there's a PDF called The Salts of the Zodiac, and it's explained in there. It's on the .com, and it's on archive sites and stuff for you to download and have a look at. Yeah, wherever your pleasure.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that, man.
Forget the author. There is an author to that. It's not just Salts of the Zodiac.
George Carey.
I don't know. Sounds about right.
It's George. I've got one of the books. I like to make sure. I always like to question things. You know, that's just me hyper analytic mind. That's the way I think. There it is. It's George W. Carey. Relations of mineral salt to the signs of the zodiac. And the book you mentioned was, if ask if you're there.
It was what? Sorry.
The book I mentioned was relation of the mineral salts of the body to the signs of the zodiac. That's the one I've got. And the one you mentioned on your site. Which one?
Salts of the zodiac. It might be the same. It might not. But there's a zodiac salts booklet that I think Santos sent me, or he gave me a link to where to find it when I asked him. But yeah, salt of the earth. You boys are, and scribes. Salt of the earth. Sol. He covered that, and he went into sol and the etymological roots of sol, solstice, sun, salt, sal. Inch madness, it really is. Sun, but sun and son, sun. So insane where we've gone. I'm skimming the room, boys. Okay, have you got out? You want to say? Are you still there? You want to?
No, I'm still here. I am going to. I'm glad we're winding up. I'm getting a bit tired now, to be honest. No, it's been there's a good chat going on in amongst the peeps in the room.
Yeah.
Nice to see, as usual. A few people having a little bit of backwards and forwards on different subjects. Fair play to you all. Thanks for joining in and joining us.
Yeah, 5G chat and topical chats. It doesn't. Man's mind is looking for information, is looking for security, and we've tried to reassure you in some ways. There, we're not here for the hype and to get you scared or to get the emotions going. We're here to calm, reassure, and
don't sweat it, people. Chill.
Yeah,
it'll all be good. Just be sensible.
Yeah, be sensible. Be sensible and vigilant at the same time. Just don't do what the sheep do and just panic buy all the toilet bowl, all the baked beans.
Oh dear, no.
But if things do come into fruition, the best thing you could possibly do is be prepared.
Best thing you can do is find yourself a Polish international shop. I went to, after all the commotion, listen, blessings be. I couldn't Adam and Eve it. I was going to the post office to send out some GANs, which I've finally done. Test tubes and bracelets are out to 7 of the clansmans that I've had emails and messages and things from. There is more to go out, don't worry, but 7 have gone for now to have contacted, emailed and nudged whom that are getting them. But my point is, I've lost myself. I was out, Polish shop, and I was out doing that at the post office. I'm tired too, fam. Wow. I got it back. That's the silver water in the memory. And as I went to the post office, I thought, look at a Polish shop with bags of spuds. And I thought, let me have a wander up. I'm a bit inquisitive here. How come these lot have got stock? Why is nobody buying it? How much is it? Must be a fortune. And I went, £5. What's that? 15 kilo. Let me look at them spuds. They look all £5, 15 kilo. Let's go inside and have a look. 500 grams of coffee, cappuccino, full 5-bar strength. I'm like, whoa, how much is this? £1.29. What? £1.29. Half a kilo of kick-ass pure blended bean coffee. Indigo go juice. Yes, I wanted to wander around. Eggs. I couldn't find any eggs earlier. How much are eggs? And these ones are the free range, them £2.50. What, 15, £2? That's not so bad. I ain't got any eggs. I'll take some eggs. Oh, well, I ain't gonna. The Polish shop, everybody. Right at the last minute, found shadow from me to you. Accidentally found me saying, ensconcing around that shop because I'd been at the post office or I wouldn't have found it. It had everything in that the others didn't. And it's sometimes at a cheaper price and in bulk. They love it. Find yourself your local European outlet and say, ciao bello. Oh wow!
I will do this one in. I live in a small town in Holton, and there's a Polish shop just over the bridge, over the Mersey Gateway, by the Asda where all the looters, so I'll give that a pop over and see if I can negotiate some free food from the market. Cause I always try to look for free.
Bless you.
There's nothing wrong with it. Don't get greedy.
I remember at a seminar somebody bought you a dinner as well, and now you've said that makes perfect sense. Somebody bought you some chips and fish, I think, at a seminar we had, didn't we? I was there, and you got the free food. Kudos. He's right, he is. I've seen him in action. He's a master. And don't go into a Polish shop and say ciao bello. That's Italian for hello. Go in and say cześć. Actually, that's actually Polish for hello. Dziękuję. Dziękuję. Help me. Is thank you.
Checks, isn't it? It's to do with checkmates.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's check.
Madness.
Thank you all. Let's see.
Love you too, Lisa. Thank you.
Oh, bless you. Humble is kind. Native people just accepted it. Bless them. Humble and kind native people. Oh. There's a lot of chirp here, but we're all good. I'll review it later at my leisure on the sofa. Sorry about the buffering. The buffering is, I've tried to get the strongest signal possible. I don't know what's happening. I'm using different handset to check it, and it works, fine. But as soon as it goes live,
hasn't been too bad here, mate. To be honest.
Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's off, but it seems to be per video, not so much. It's like the topic we talk, so it might just be your lot's connection. It might just be we're all draining the system, and they've downgraded the bandwidth so it can cope, etc. So there you go. It's all that combined.
Avoid trigger words.
Yeah, sorry.
When do you think they'll turn on the 5G? Because I don't want to see that.
We're shutting down, but that's another video. We'll get you back on for that chat. But
yeah.
I don't know.
You got steel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I offered to go to court. For the public record, I offered to attend court with him. It happened. He apparently walked out of court with a win or something, or it wasn't a win because he had something suspended or whatever. And I'm like, no. A win is when you have nothing and nothing unblemished. I'm not here to talk about that, but that was a bit of a double whammy when I found out he'd won, and then I found out there was stipulations with the win. I went, whoa, a win is a win. Not like, stipulations with. That's following orders of. That's okay, but you're not doing incarceration, but you've come out with something in addition and something to you for terms of. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, that's right, Kev, yeah. And,
nailed to the cross. They've got you nailed to a cross, whether you know it or not, one way or the other.
Yeah, kind of. And then I did say that.
You know what I mean, Dave.
Let's go and crack on. I'll give you some. I had a private chat with him on the telephone, man, and I'd met him in the York seminar, and he seemed a really big, overpowering, clever guy. He wasn't intimidating, and he knew what he was on about, and he said he worked for the government and whatnot, and there was mixed reports about this man, and then I seen him on an anonymous video with the shades on, going, why 5G, and I'm like, oh, wow. I met that bloke, and he seems to be doing good. It turns out 5G's dodgy, so well done, Mark, and all of the others that are doing it as well. And Lyndon that's coming on with his meters and readings. And what I would suggest is that if you are concerned about 5G and you are concerned about your assets and our areas and schools and care homes and that, we'll get 5G readers. And we'll make a video on how to use them and what to do and where to get them from. And then we shall go ourselves, take some readings, and then we get back together with the readings and our proof of claim, and then we move forward from there. So it's not too far away. Shadow, all right, and others that are worried. I don't want to dismiss it, but we are shutting down and we are tired, and we've done 3 hours, so that's it. But for 5G, we'll tackle that and we'll win. So if it does get pushed on us,
but people have suggested to me that they're going to go around petrol bombing the town.
Shut up, rewind. No, them people are crazy and stupid. There's easier ways to dismantle, weapons of mass destruction and destruction. So, there's no need for that. No, we're not condoning that, but I see why they would be angry, because it's an attack on man, on biological life. So, we've come to learn and be told. Yeah.
Do you know when I was walking through the fields, there's always a bee following me, always.
Oh, Beehive.
Oh,
Beehive. Austin Powers. Programming. Straight away. Didn't need that. Shadow, Kev, I love you. We're going. He's late.
Okay.
Room, Lisa,
Love to everybody.
Quinn.
Thanks for listening. Shadow, good to speak to you, mate. We'll catch up again real soon.
Yeah, good to speak to you, Kev, man.
Bless you both. Oh.
I appreciate it, man. Stick through, go through the hard times. If push comes to shove, get some
Vaseline.
compost or something. You just grow some food and you'll be alright. You just go vegan for like 3 you'll be
I want to say thank you, Shadow, and I shouted Vaseline there if you didn't get that. Cleveland
Cheers, Dave.
and Alan, and who else did we have there? Cleveland, Alan. There was, I said the rest there. I think we've done, and Anders was in for a bit.
All.
You got any names?
Yeah, Anders, Lisa, everybody's. Thanks very much. Speak to you soon.
G-Man, he went out, in and out. Yeah. Anthony, I remember Anthony. Maybe Stephen. Yeah, we good. And Paul was a new one.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, we're good then. Thank you. Let's go. We'll all go at once. I'll end the cast and we'll all hang up then. All right, because I need to visit the little boy's room. Yeah.
No worries. Yeah.
And we'll talk about telepathy. It came, I remembered I said I pinned it, but not now. Greek word, research telepathy. Interesting. Yeah, randomly. Much love and thank you all. We'll see you soon, yeah? Ciao, YouTube. Subscribe. You say bye. Kev, you want to say bye to Tube?
Yeah. Good night to everybody. Thanks very much. Much love. Peace to everybody. Have a good week.
Shadow.
End.
Thank you. Get your seeds in.
Get your seeds into the ladies. Wow.
Get you learn how to grow food. Fucking all the seed bed.
Bless. All right. See you later. Much love, fam.